happy Veterans Day. You're a veteran.
Yes.
Happy Veterans Day, Adrian.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you for your service. Is that why you wore the cap stuff today?
It is not.
Okay. It happened, bro. It's like
it was just there.
Some things are just meant to be. It sounds like we're not getting X-Men until after Secret Wars, which is probably a good thing.
Right. Yeah, we need to sit on the X-Men because all the atrocities that they've made in the past. Let's go.
Start charging for admission around here.
He goes and kidnaps kids and forces them to drink tea, which prevents them from kind of running away. These things.
Mind control. Dude, he's the Diddy of the Batman universe. This is Only Comics, guys, where we discuss comics and only comics, nothing else.
Well, you might want to scratch that nothing else.
We are making Mondays great again, 1 week at a time.
That is true.
That is true.
If you never see him, then you don't miss him.
Mm-hmm. You sound like a prophet today.
I'm always a prophet. I just don't spin it all the time.
All right. The X-Men have never been done properly on screen. All right. Welcome to Only Comics. I'm Mike. This is Adrian.
What up? What's up?
What's up, bro?
Another lovely day in the neighborhood, man.
It is, dude. A little brisk.
Yeah, I had to have the fireplace on last night.
Oh, shit.
The good thing about it is that it heated up the whole house. So
okay.
It was cool.
All right. Well, staying warm. Hope everybody's staying warm out there.
Right.
But we're coming in hot today, Adrian.
Let's
There's
do
a lot
it.
going on. I see you're all capped out, bro.
All capped out.
Look at that.
The original cap.
Yes.
Not Captain Falcon.
Oh, you're not dressed up as Cap. You don't have the wings on the back.
No, none of that.
It was a new trailer we're going to talk about in a little bit, though. A little Captain America Brave New World, as they're calling it. So a lot of stuff going on in the news. But I figured we would start, Adrian, with a little true or false again. We did this a few weeks ago.
All right.
So just trying to make sure, keep you on your toes, okay?
Let's do it.
So my first one here is Only Comics is a show, not a podcast.
That is true.
There we go. If you don't like our show, I will be very upset. Very upset.
Very false.
Exactly. Only Comics is an educational program / learning experience.
It is definitely both of those.
There we go. And last but not least, and this is, I got to give credit to one of our YouTube subscribers. He coined this phrase. I forget his name, though. Sorry. We are making Mondays great again, 1 week at a time.
That is true.
That is true. So there you have it. All right. Well, and this is Only Comics, guys, where we discuss comics and only comics, nothing else.
Well, you might want to scratch that nothing else part. Sometimes we delve into you do a little toe dipping.
Yeah, a little other stuff, as we call it here. Other stuff. We should have a whole segment called Other Stuff.
There you go.
Maybe someday. But we like to hop into the news and rumors, dude. A lot of stuff going on this week. We mentioned Captain America, but we're gonna talk about Secret Wars first.
All right.
There's like a new Secret Wars rumor every 2 weeks.
Well, it has to be. I
Yeah.
mean, with all the stuff that's inundating people's trying to get your attention, they have to stay on top.
Yep. And this is shaping up, or it's Marvel's planning this to be an event that would rival Endgame. Robert Downey Jr. coming back as Dr. Doom for the first time, so looking forward to that. Some of our viewers a little mixed on that, but I'm still on the dude. I think he's gonna knock it out of the park.
Yeah, absolutely.
Can't wait to see it. Spider-Man, dude. Spider-Man is a big piece of Secret Wars, mostly the first Secret Wars, which the Russo brothers, who return to direct, they're huge fans of the Secret Wars comic from the 80s, which we read both last year.
Right.
And I don't know what episode it is, but if you should go back and find those deep dives. But in the first Secret Wars, Spider-Man played a big part. He got the symbiote, he got the black suit. We've seen versions of heroes fighting other variants of themselves. Okay. So the rumor that just dropped, Adrian, says that that's one of the things that we're going to see in Avengers Secret Wars. We may see the 3 Spider-Men fight each other.
Okay.
Tobey Maguire, your boy. Andrew Garfield, not your boy, my boy. And Tom Holland, who I think we both like.
Right.
The 3 of these guys squaring off, dude. How you feel about this rumor?
Sounds pretty exciting, especially if Tom gets the symbiote.
Yeah. So Tom Holland versus Andrew Garfield, dude. Who you got in that?
Wait a minute, Tom against Andrew?
Yeah.
Well, Andrew's on the bottom regardless.
I know.
So I don't care who you put him up against.
It don't matter.
Don't matter.
It'd be cool to see though.
Yeah.
Because we saw them interact in No Way Home, and they didn't fight each other. They worked together. They had some nice little. We saw the Peters interact. Their nice little quips back and forth or whatnot. But it would be cool to see that. So I'd be down with that. And it's like we said this before with this movie. Dude, nobody's off limits.
Right.
You're going to see all kinds of people show up.
Yep.
There's rumors that Ghost Rider's going to show up. Your boy Nick Cage.
Damn.
Deadpool. So Ryan Reynolds, he was kind of coy about it. They asked him about it. He said something along the lines like, "We'll see what happens." And people are kind of down, like, "Oh my God, is he not going to be in it?" I don't want every cameo to be spoiled.
Right.
They don't need to tell us everybody.
Right.
Right.
But I mean, somebody like Deadpool, I don't think. With the arc of Secret Wars, someone like Deadpool shouldn't have the spotlight either.
No, no, just like a cameo.
Right.
I mean, Hugh Jackman's rumored to show up.
Mm-hmm.
Now, would we see him fight some other variants of Wolverine? Would it be? I mean, we've already seen him fight himself in a movie, Logan.
Right.
But there's just so many ways they can go with this, and it sounds like it's going to be just based off of these rumors, a mix between both Secret Wars stories, right? Because this rumor leans more towards the original, but what we've seen with the incursions and Doom and all that being introduced, I think that is a lot more close to the 2015 version. So, but I mean, both these stories are amazing. They can pull from both of these. Right. So I'm looking forward to this movie.
Yeah, me too. I mean, maybe Wolverine will fight his future 90-year-old version of himself.
Oh, there you go, the old man.
Still
Logan.
playing it.
Dude, you just give it. Hey, guys, write that down. Send it over to Kevin. Yeah, we're tied in with Marvel now, dude. We got the interns around here, and they're gonna shoot that information straight over to Kevin. So if you see that in the movie, you just thank your boy Adrian. That's
it.
They don't know, but later on they're going to be under your learning tree at some point.
Absolutely,
today,
absolutely.
Do we got a lot more hidden gem requests too? Just keep them coming, bro.
Hey, let's go.
Let's start charging for admission around here, But yeah, dude, I'm all for seeing the 3 Spider-Men interact.
Sure.
Another movie. So we touched on, Captain America: Brave New World. Brand new trailer just dropped. We were watching this a few minutes ago.
Yep.
Looks pretty good. But before we get into the trailer, Giancarlo Esposito, we saw him in the trailer briefly. Right. He said that they're actually going back to do some reshoots next week. So there was a rumor a few weeks back that said the early version of this movie did not test well. Mm-hmm. This movie's gone through reshoots already once, and now they're going back for more reshoots, and this thing comes out in February. So it's all about your perspective. Is that a good thing, a bad thing? Mm-hmm. It's probably a good thing that they recognize that it needed some reshoots, because there's plenty of fucking movies that have come out that definitely needed some reshoots. Right.
Are they reshooting because of the content, or are they reshooting because of people's perspective? Are you basically not accepting Mackie as captain?
Yeah, I don't know. I've not heard that. I think that's just us that feel that way, which happens sometimes here. I mean, that's probably not true or false, but there's times where it's like me and you against the world, Adrian. Right. But, it's all right. It's definitely all right. But I guess I think I would assume it's based off of how the test audience responded to the movie in general. And a lot of times when they reshoot, they change giant aspects of the story, too. Right. So we'll see, dude. I'm going to lean on it's probably a good thing, because they probably realize that it's not right yet, and we got a little bit of time, and we got, that Marvel cash that Ryan Reynolds talks about, and fucking let's spend some more and reshoot some more. Right. So hopefully it's a good thing. I
will say that in the preview, Harrison Ford's Red Hulk looks more precisely like the Hulk that I would have seen in the comic books. Not when they first made him, but like the 80s, 90s kind of Hulk. You know, the chiseled jaw and all this other kind of stuff. Not the Mark Ruffalo fat face, that kind of thing.
Yeah, I agree. He did do a good job of bringing that character to life. Yeah. And from the trailer we saw, now trailers can be deceiving, right? Mm-hmm. It's like a push-up bra for the movie, Right. But it definitely looks good from the trailer. The action scenes.
Absolutely.
It seems to be very intense. I like that they have, what's his name, Isaiah Bradley in it. Yeah. From the series. He was one of the high spots of the show, one of the original black super soldiers.
Oh, yep.
And now they brought him back. And we saw from another trailer, it looked like he was under mind control, similar to Bucky. Right. So it almost seems like they're going with that Bucky Cap dynamic, but with Isaiah and Sam Wilson,
right.
which is interesting. Their relationship's a lot different. He's an older, almost like, you know, Sam kind of looked up to him a little bit.
Right.
So it's interesting where they're going with that. They can do a lot with that.
Well, I mean, it also looks like they're kind of like diminishing John Esposito's role and bringing him more to the forefront.
Right.
You know, this super soldier aspect of it.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I think it is going to be interesting. I also think that Ross is the one pulling the strings behind all this stuff.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's where all this stuff is coming from.
Yep.
When Caps gets arrested, that can only happen by the president's
exactly.
order. So,
and he's had issues with the superheroes for most of the time.
Right.
I mean, he was the other actor, but the same character. I mean, how many times did he go up? Even in Civil War, a lot of that conflict was him and Tony.
Right.
So yeah, who knows, dude? And then now Giancarlo's character is Sidewinder, who I don't know much of anything about that character from the comics.
Sidewinder was he was like a reptilian character, I believe, in the comics.
Okay.
Had like a hooded green costume. Scaly.
It's scaly. It's like red. He's got a yellow, like, kind of flange around it. Yeah. Almost has like a red skull-looking face.
Yeah.
Yeah, so a little different. A little bit different.
Just a little bit.
Which, you know, we see that sometimes in the MCU.
Sure,
I mean,
sure.
I guess it's not as bad when it's like a, I'll say unknown character, but not a main character.
Right.
But, I mean, he's a great actor, so I'm sure he'll bring it, you know.
Let's see what happens.
We will find out. But, yeah, so far, based off the trailer, dude, I'm liking it. I'm looking forward to it. Matt Reeves. So there was some conflicting rumors this week, Adrian. At first, there was a rumor earlier in the week that DC was going to work on a Joker show similar to the Penguin show with that Joker character that's at the end of the Batman.
Okay.
Remember, he's the next sellover from the Riddler. So the rumor earlier in the week was they're gonna build a show just like Penguin, but focused on that character, that actor.
Okay.
So, okay, that's pretty cool. James Gunn shut that down. He said that's not true. But the thing that is true is Matt Reeves will be working on more spin-off shows. It's just the Joker one has not been confirmed. So it's kind of,
probably James want to get his own shit in,
right?
And mess it up. That's what I'm thinking is going to happen.
He says, so Matt Reeves in an interview recently said that we've been talking and it's exciting because people are now embracing the show, which, I mean, we love the show. We're going to talk about last week's episode in a little bit. My fantasy is coming into being, which is very exciting, and HBO has been incredibly supportive from the beginning. He goes on to say that, you know, it's all about cities and dysfunction in the world, and that's what Batman stories are all about. They're all about Gotham being a place that should be better. And he kind of says that, you know, there's going to be some separate experiences. They all have their own dramatic value. Oz's story is Oz's story, and the idea is to do these other stories in the same way.
Right.
So he doesn't all out confirm, you know, any type of characters. There was some hints at a Harvey Dent Two-Face series. We heard some rumors about that, which when I first heard that, I was like, man, really again? But seeing how unique his take on the Penguin is, Gotham, I would like to see a Harvey Dent HBO show.
I'd rather see Huntress one before I see that. I was going to say Catwoman, but I mean that's kind of been overdone. Even though that would be an interesting one as well,
right?
But I think the Huntress would be a good character to pick out of that and have Matt Reeves.
You like the Huntress, dude? You mentioned it last week too.
Yeah,
you gotta watch Birds of Prey, dude. She's in there and they do a good job of portraying her. I've said this before, and this is, you know, since you've not seen it, I wouldn't want you to lie in front of everyone, but, you know, I'd ask you guys, I say The Huntress is better than both Suicide Squad movies. Do you agree or disagree? You know, drop that in the comments, all right? But it actually is, dude. I love that movie. Yeah, it's a good one. It's fun. It came out during COVID, so you know how that goes. Like 6 people went to see it, and I think one was me. So, anyways, but yeah, dude, I honestly, whatever Matt Reeves wants to do, just
let this man cook.
Let him cook. Just have at it, dude. The Joker one was intriguing, but
that must be a good. Well, I know it's a good feeling because I'm kind of in that place now where you have thoughts and things you want to create, which meets the opportunity to do it, which is on the platform in which you want to do it.
Right.
So when all those things are together, dude, it's a good feeling to have purpose and the opportunity to explore it. Mm-hmm. And it seems like what Matt Reeves is doing right now, he's in that happy place.
Yeah, dude, he's killing it. He can do no wrong. So strike while the iron's hot, as they say, you know.
Just Matt, if you got an OnlyFans page, take it down, dude. Or this would be your only season.
Yeah. Holy shit. All right. Well, we see what happens, dude.
Right.
Yeah. Don't be like, hey, you want more information about the Penguin? Go to my OnlyFans. We've seen that before. Anyway, moving on. Our boy Kevin Feige, you know, he's on the line
sure,
right
of course,
now.
Of course.
I just told hey guys, tell him that as soon as we're done, we'll get on. He just wants to know our feedback, you know.
Sure.
But he shared some updates about some MCU shows, movies. So last week we reported that the Blade movie with Mahershala Ali has been kind of put off indefinitely.
Okay.
Some of us interpret that as it being canceled, right? But fear not, Adrian. My man Kevin says that we're committed to Blade. We love the character. We love Mahershala's version of him. And rest assured, whenever we change direction with a project or are still trying to figure out how it fits into our schedule, we let the public know you're updated on what's going on. But I can say that the character will make it to the MCU. So
they've changed their mind already.
Yeah, they heard us. Dude, I mean, it's the type of influence that we have.
What other reason would you put out a statement like that?
Yeah,
we're going to go ahead with the character. It's been delayed because we had a reshoot.
Right. Yep. So I think they're just going to put it off somewhat, which that's fine. But I do want to see that version of the character.
Absolutely. And you know, while you're bringing back, you know, the old goats, you know, bring back your boy for Spawn as well.
Yes, absolutely.
You know, if you never see him, then you don't miss him. Mm-hmm. So if, you know, Jamie, we love you as an actor.
Adrian. Huh? You sound like a prophet today.
I'm always a prophet. I just don't spin it all the time.
All right.
You know, Jamie, we love you as an actor, dude, but you know, we need all, you know.
Yeah, Michael J. White
is the Spawn.
Absolutely. Scarlet Witch, we did our top 5 characters last week.
Yep.
She was my number 5. There's some news about her because Agatha all along wrapped up. And I actually revisited the last 2 episodes. I got some thoughts later I'm going to drop on everyone, Adrian.
But, including me.
Yes. So, but one of the things about Agatha all along is its connection to Scarlet Witch. Is probably one of the better parts of that show.
Okay.
And everyone's asking, dude, what's up with Wanda? They're going to be a Wanda movie, Scarlet Witch show. What the hell's going on? So Kevin says we had Agatha all along on Disney Plus just now, and that series was great for us. Since then, there's been a lot of questions about Wanda in fans' minds. So all I can say is that we're excited to find out when and how Scarlet Witch can come back. Yeah, I like how Kevin kind of walks this line but gives us something. Because what everyone was confused about is she dead or not? In Doctor Strange, we see the mountain blow up or whatever. You saw a little red flash.
Right.
In the beginning of Agatha, we think she's dead because there's a body, but we realize that that's just, you know, Wiccan playing with, or that's a spell that Wanda put on Agatha in the first place. Mm-hmm. So we never seen the body. This sounds like she's coming back. They're just figuring out where and when. Or maybe they know and they don't want to tell us yet.
Right. Well, notice the key words, when and how. Mm-hmm. Not if.
Right.
Right? So the if excludes the death thing.
Yep.
Right? The when and how is, okay, so how are we going to get her from under a mountain and transform her from a red dot into an actual person? So
I got the perfect way to do that with your boy Dr. Doom. Somehow. He's got power. He'll figure it out.
Maybe the mountain was an illusion also, just like the town.
Shit.
I'm just saying.
She is that powerful.
She's that powerful.
Damn, bro. You're solving all the world's problems today.
That's it.
Spider-Man 4 fast approaching. We talked a little bit about some rumors last week. Now, in the rumor, it mentioned an unlikely ally. Mm-hmm. You know who else could be an unlikely ally is Miles Morales, which we've seen in the Spider-Verse.
Yep.
So they asked Kevin about this too, and he says that Miles will appear in the third Spider-Verse, which we know, which is in production, Beyond the Spider-Verse. He says, I hope that shortly after that he will be able to enter the MCU in live action. So what it sounds like is he probably can't have Miles in the MCU, because, you know, Sony has their kind of license with the Spider-Man characters. Right. Like, they had to agree to have Tom Holland in the MCU. Mm-hmm. So it sounds like the Spider-Verse needs to be wrapped up before Sony's willing to let Miles move to the MCU, which would make sense, right?
It would make sense. And also, since Miles is currently not even in his own universe, remember,
right?
That machine takes you back to the universe from which the spider came,
was from,
not from where the person was, right? It just so happens that Miles and the spider was in two different ones, so he sent him back. So it wouldn't be too much of a leap that after this, the third Spider-Verse thing, he goes to a different universe, which happens to be the MCU.
Right.
Damn, man. My own skin's tingling, dude.
Do you be back on the coffee? Is that what's going on today? No.
Nope.
That's just that lemon water, bro.
No, that's it.
Damn, that's the secret. Everybody wants to know, how do you guys do it? There it is, the lemon water. I'm down with it, dude. So you're saying take the animated Miles and bring that version into live action.
Absolutely.
That'd be cool. Why not?
Yep.
That'd be awesome. I'm down with it. Kevin, get Sony on the line too. If he's waiting, might as well we'll just do a conference call and we're done. What do you think? Get everyone on?
Fuck Sony. Get my bank on the line.
We'll get the interns to get a couple deposits, transfer some money. Dude, it's like, we went from 0 to 100. There's people everywhere.
Just like that, dude.
I know. You need another drink soon?
Oh, dude, I got a story.
Oh, shit.
So another sighting.
Yeah.
So I'm at an art thing yesterday, right?
Yeah.
With my family. And this older gentleman comes up to me. He's like, "Have I seen you somewhere before?" I'm like, "I don't know, but..." And it's a common question.
Yep.
For me, I get this literally all the time, even before Only Comics, right? I'm like, and my standard question is, whoever you're thinking about, is he in trouble, right? No, but I can't place where I saw you. I said, well, the likely place that you see me is probably on a podcast. Do you read comics? He was like, yeah, I read comics. I said, well, that's probably where you saw me.
Nice.
So it's happening, dude.
It's happening, dude.
It's happening more and more often, too, right? You just had one last week.
Yeah, one last week. And then I was at my barber's, and he's like, hey, my girl sent me a TikTok the other day. She's like, check this out. And it was yours. He's like, I know that dude. I do his beard every week. Yeah.
Right.
Small world.
It's happening, man.
We're blowing up, bro.
That's it.
Well, that's why God, we can't even get in the morning. There's a line, the breakfast line. We'll go to catering after this. It happens quick, dude. X-Men. So X-Men, there's we know that at some point the X-Men will be in the MCU.
Yep.
Marvel's been kind of sitting on those rights. They bought them up years ago when Fox fell apart. The only X-Men we've seen so far was Beast at the end of the Marvels.
Right.
We saw in Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, we saw the Illuminati and a Professor Xavier from another universe. And then, obviously, Deadpool and Wolverine, we saw some X-Men characters there. But we've not really seen any real crossover with the MCU. And it sounds like, so this was Kevin. Kevin's he's been yapping. They call me the yapper. This fucking dude was yapping all week long. He says, when we were preparing for Avengers Endgame years ago, it was a matter of getting the grand finale of our narrative, and then we had to start that all over again. This time, on the road to Secret Wars, we already know very well what's going to happen, be the story until then and beyond. The X-Men are an important part of the future. So it sounds like we're not getting X-Men until after Secret Wars, which is probably a good thing. Right.
Yeah, we need to sit on the X-Men because, first of all, they got to let a generation of X-Men movie fans kind of not physically die out, but forget.
Yep.
Right? All the atrocities that they've made in the past.
God.
And then probably come out with some better flicks.
Yeah.
And the trend right now has been so amazing. Minus a few hits.
Occasional turd here and there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Turd. I said hits, but I meant misses. But turd is even better.
Right.
So give them a chance to forget all that stuff and come out with something that's worthy of being stamped as an X-Men movie.
There you go. Yeah. Are you getting
just add Rogue?
And not the Anna Paquin Rogue. No offense to Anna.
No offense to Anna at all.
No. Yeah, but you're right, dude. So wait, are you alluding to the fact that some X-Men movies aren't worthy of being X-Men movies, Adrian?
Oh, let me see. None of them.
Damn.
None of them, dude. This team is so awesome, and they pooch screwed that one.
I got my first question for Agree to Disagree now because I'm gonna level set, as I say, and ask you something that I've asked you in the past later. So stay tuned to Agree to Disagree for that. But yeah, I do. The reason I want them to wait, because my prediction, or maybe I don't know if this is a prediction or
an educated fucking wish.
Probably more of that, you know.
Right.
But Secret Wars is going to end the multiverse story.
Okay.
I believe, and I think it's time.
Absolutely.
I think the multiverse is something that's hard to capture on TV and movies. It's easier in the world of a comic, right? Because you can just draw whatever the fuck. It's harder to show that size and just that vastness of the multiverse on screen, at least so far.
Well, I don't think it's difficult to show it on screen. I think because it takes so long, like a decade.
Yeah.
And unlike a comic, you can put, certain pages up on the wall and kind of look at the relevance of it all. With a movie, you can't really do that as easily.
Yeah.
So it's hard for people to keep track of who, what, when, where, and how. But I definitely agree that I think the Secret Wars is the end of the multiverse, and it's actually a pretty good strategy.
Yeah.
It's just it's culminating to this thing, and it definitely needs to go away, get back to the grounded stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's a great point, because in the comics, how long were stories going on before the multiverse was even a thing?
Right.
And these are movies that have been going on like a decade or so, and we're already at the multiverse.
Right.
It's like you're just playing the hits. You get these old artists that they do like their legacy constantly, do their hits.
Yep.
That's what it was with Marvel. Like it would take probably 20 years to build to where you can really, and by that time, half the damn audience is dead. It's crazy.
Yep.
But yeah, I'm looking forward or I think that's a good strategy. Wrap it up with Secret Wars, destroy all the multiverses, all the other universes, leave us with one that's slightly different, kind of rebooted like they did in the 2015 version. Then let's focus on the X-Men the same way we focused on the Avengers for the past 10, 15 years. And
if we wrap up Across the Spider-Verse at the same time, that would then also bring Spider-Man organically into the MCU. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. So I think one of the biggest struggles with the multiverse is it's the same thing that DC said about their comic multiverse in the 80s. So, I did the year one video. Right. So if you've not checked that out, go check that out. It's a 10-minute breakdown of why Batman Year One is the ultimate origin story, but not perfect. But in there, I mentioned I was reading about the origin of the comic itself, Year One, and this was around the time Crisis on Infinite Earths was released. Matter of fact, we saw the book at the comic store the other day. Right. So DC had their multiverse already at this point, and they said, this was their quote, that their multiverse was unfriendly to new readers, which makes sense. Like, if you're coming into this, like, imagine, your first venture into reading comics, and you have to understand why there's 5 different Batman and 3 different Superman. And like, that's a lot. All the Green Lantern, all kinds of shit, right? It's a lot. So they rebooted it with Crisis on Infinite Earths because it was unfriendly. I would probably say the same thing about the MCU's multiverse right now. To a new viewer, it's unfriendly. Right. It's a lot of catch-up you got to do.
Yeah, that's true. And speaking of comic book stores, so listen. If a client walks into your store and you have 3 walls of pop heads or pop rocks or whatever the hell these things are, and the other wall is a record collection, and you have miniature toys of wheelbarrows, but only one shelf of comics, you might want to take comic out of the name of your store, please. It's deceiving.
Absolutely. Thankfully, the one we go to,
we don't
have that problem.
Absolutely. Giant, I'm not going to say the name, but it has a giant life-size model of the Silver Surfer in the window, and it's been there for probably 20 years, dude. Right. Love it. Yeah, that's a true comic book store.
Absolutely. And, dude, I've been to, I went to Newberry Comics in Boston a few months back, and it's the store you're talking about. Like, they got, like, small little comic section.
Yep.
And then the rest is pop vinyls, records, all kinds of shit, right? Which is fine, but like you said, don't call it Newberry Records, then, and then Midtown Comics in New York, I went a few weeks back. It was better. It was kind of like the midpoint between that one and the one we have.
Right.
But yeah, there's not many true comic stores left, unfortunately.
Unfortunately.
Last piece of news, Joker, Folie à Deux. I haven't seen this yet, but this is funny because one of the actors in the movie called the movie the worst film ever made.
Wow.
Not the worst comic movie, not the worst movie of 2024, the worst film ever made. And it was on Joe Rogan. It was like an actor, comedian, Tim Dillon. He had a small role as an Arkham security guard. And this is his exact quote. It was the worst film ever made. I think what happened after the first Joker, there was a lot of talk like, oh, this was loved by incels. This was loved by the wrong kinds of people. This sent the wrong kind of message, male rage. And he goes on, he says, I think we went the other way, and now they have Joaquin Phoenix and Lady Gaga tap dancing to a point where it's insane. It has no plot. We would sit there, me and these other guys, all dressed in security outfits because we're working at Arkham Asylum, and I would turn to one of them and hear this crap and go, what the fuck is this? They'd go, this is going to be bomb, man. This is going to be bomb, man. This is the worst thing I've ever seen.
Wow.
He goes on. He's like, what's the plot? Is there even a plot? He said it's not even hate watchable. That's how terrible it is.
Damn.
Wow.
Well, all I can say about that guy is I hope your comic profession takes off because you are doomed in playing movies, dude.
Yep. Well, I think he's. I don't know stand-up comics like that, but if he knows Rogan, he's probably tied in that whole deal.
Sure.
So I'm sure maybe he's good with his comedy act. But yeah, you're right. One thing you're not going to be is you won't be in another DC movie. That's for sure. But that's bold. The worst movie ever.
Right.
I almost want to see it now.
I thought about it for like a microsecond, but I'm like, no. But it also says that the movie must really be bad, dude. Mm-hmm. If you got the director coming out and trying to cover up, you got actors coming out talking about it. I saw it the other day. I think it was on HBO Max or something.
Yeah.
I started laughing because I'm like, dude, I've never seen a show pop up. I mean,
that's funny.
This quick.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to pay to see it, but still, the fact that it's there is just a testimony to how atrocious it probably is.
I think here's what I'll commit this right here in the podcast, Adrian. Once it is available to stream to where I don't have to pay any money to watch this shit show, I will watch it. I'll take one for the team. Yeah, and I'll come here and I'll tell you all about it.
All righty then.
I'll fill you in. You won't miss anything, Adrian. But the fact that it's the worst movie ever, according to this one guy, actually makes me want to see it. That's probably the best marketing that anyone's done for this movie because everything else I saw made me not want to watch it. So
well, maybe that's the whole point.
That's the strategy.
The strategy.
All right. Well, now
the reverse psychology.
He got me, bro. I'm in it. I can't wait to see it. All right. Well, that is our news and rumors. Like this, share this, subscribe if you haven't already. We are going to wrap up news and rumors with a little thumbs up, thumbs down.
Let's do it.
So we're like rule fluid here, right? We keep it simple. We're not unfriendly to new viewers.
That's it.
You can join us for the first time, and you won't be confused. Mm-hmm. So we're going to just recap the news, and we'll just let you know how we're feeling today about this news segment. You say all the time we have the right to change.
Absolutely.
Change our mind in the future or
something? I have the right to change my mind about anything I've said in the past today.
So there will be things that we thumbs up that we probably took a big-ass shit all over weeks ago. Who knows? I mean, when we first heard about Secret Wars and they were talking about Hugh Jackman, Tobey Maguire, we're like, fuck that sucks. Right. Then we see Deadpool Wolverine. I'm like, you know what? I'm down with that. Bring them all. Fuck it.
I'm actually changing my mind a little bit about Captain Falcon. Not the culmination of the two characters, but the movie itself.
Got it. You're not going to stop calling him Captain Falcon. No, let's not get crazy, dude. No. Now, what if the movie's like one of the best comic book movies you've ever seen in your life? Would you call him Captain America then?
No.
All right, moving on. Thumbs up, thumbs down. Secret Wars rumored to feature all three Spider-Men, Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield, and Tom Holland fighting each other. I give this a thumbs up.
Thumbs up.
Next up, Captain America Brave New World going for another round of reshoots. But we saw a recent trailer, and it seems like it's going to be a pretty good movie. Yep. I guess a thumbs up.
Yeah, sure. Thumbs up.
And I give the reshoots a thumbs up because hopefully that means they realize that some of the movies sucked and they fixed it first, you know. And instead of releasing it and then the director tries to explain how we're stupid for not liking it, you know. Or having, you know, an extra on the show say that it's the worst movie ever. There's that too. The Penguin, it's like he's taking over Batman's universe now. I mean, it's the Batman universe, but Matt Reeves confirms plans for more Batman spin-off shows on Max in the same vein as the Penguin. There's a thumbs up, dude.
Definitely thumbs up.
Let that man cook. Kevin Feige's talking about future MCU plans. He says we will see Mahershala Ali's Blade. He says that Miles Morales will move into the MCU after the Spider-Verse wraps up. Scarlet Witch is coming back, and the X-Men will be in the MCU. Sounds like after Secret Wars. I give all this thumbs up, dude. Let's do it.
Wait a minute. Did he say we are going to see Marshall's Blade?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So
at some point, he said.
Oh, okay. Well, thumbs up on all that.
Yeah.
But okay.
And then last but not least, Joker Folie à Deux, Joker 2. This movie's been dragged through the mud, Adrian. And Tim Dillon, who was small role as an Arkham security guard, he was on Joe Rogan last week and says that it was the worst film ever made. So I give this a thumbs down, dude. It's why make this movie should have never been made ever.
Well, I give it a thumbs up because it confirms what I felt in the beginning.
Got it. And that's why this is a learning experience for everyone, Adrian. We teach them about different perspectives.
There you go.
And no one's mad. No one's upset. Unlike most of you out there. But that's okay. Moving on, we have hit or miss cast. This is where I throw out a handful of casting choices from the past, and Adrian gives me his opinion. So it's not your opinion. So I say this every week. You can't say he's wrong. He didn't. What you can do is like it or nothing. Two things. So you're gonna let me know simply if this role was a hit or a miss. Cast this individual. Number one. This is great. It's like you and I were fucking mentally connected this morning because number one is Chris Evans as Captain America, Steve Rogers. Hit. Carl Lumbly as Isaiah Bradley.
Hit.
Wyatt Russell as U.S. Agent / John Walker.
Psychotic, but hit.
Yeah, it's one that, like, at first, I'm like, I don't know about this guy, but after seeing him in that series, and now he's going to be back in Thunderbolts, I think he nailed it, dude.
Yeah, not as Captain America, but definitely the role that he eventually fell into.
Right, as the failed Captain America, who's now a fucking psycho. I mean, gave us one, that's actually a show that I think I'll revisit before the Captain America movie, because I don't remember it all. I've only seen it once. And it was all right. It wasn't bad. Number 4, Emily Van Camp as Sharon Carter.
Yeah.
She's a hit, dude.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
she's now, I forget her, the Power Broker. We learned that she's actually the Power Broker, so we'll probably see her again in this Captain America movie.
Wait, didn't she start S.H.I.E.L.D.? Or she was part of the group that started S.H.I.E.L.D.? Yeah.
Yep. Well, her grandmother was Peggy Carter.
Oh, okay.
The original one.
Oh, okay. You know what?
I'm
actually thinking about her.
Okay.
I almost either way, both of those are hits for the roles. That they played. So yeah.
Yeah. Sharon Carter's the blonde from Civil War.
What across the hall from Steve?
Yes.
Yeah. Keeping an eye on him.
Didn't even fucking know, bro. Steve. I mean, come on, bro.
He's Dodo, man.
He's Dodo. And last but not least, there's a theme here, and I say this after the fact. Since it is Veterans Day Monday, right? We all are Happy Veterans Day. You're a veteran.
Yes.
Happy Veterans Day, Adrian.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you for your service. Is that why you wore the cap stuff today?
It is not.
Okay. It happened, bro. It's like...
It was just there.
Some things are just meant to be,
My hands just both hands gravitated toward two different piles, and they picked up the same thing.
Damn, it was
amazing, right?
Bro. Holy shit. But what I will say is that the theme this week, everyone I mentioned is a veteran in the comic world, Captain America. And the last one, I'm saying a special one for last. Isaiah Bradley, right?
Yeah.
U.S. Agent. I mean, he was Sharon Carter. And the last but not least, this was a member of the Air Force, Brie Larson as Captain Marvel.
You had to mess this up, right? Miss.
Miss. Yeah, unfortunately, that was a miss. And I like Brie Larson as an actress in other movies, just the Captain America. The Captain Marvel. Can't even say the name right. So, So that is hit or miss cast. I agree with you across the board, Adrian. We're just locked in today. Right. So you guys let us know if you agree or not, and you can tell us why we're wrong and we're stupid and we're old and whatever the fuck you want to say. But it doesn't matter. So anyways, moving on to Adrian's favorite name segment in the history of Only Comics. What the fuck, Rotten Tomatoes?
Language.
This is where we look at some movies, sometimes some shows, where the comic book or the critic scores and the audience scores don't quite line up, and we have to pick, if we had to pick one, who we would go with, okay? Right. It's almost like a would you rather, would you rather eat turds or, get punched in the face? Kids do this crazy stuff. Would you rather punch yourself in the jaw or fall down the stairs, So would you rather go with the critics or the audience? Number one, the amazing, groundbreaking film known as Captain Marvel. The critics gave this a 79, so they all were smoking fucking crack.
Right.
And the audience said 45.
I go with the audience.
It's actually a pretty accurate score, right?
Yeah,
45. Right. The Marvel, so the sequel to Captain Marvel, critics gave it a 62. Audience gave it an 81.
The audience gave it an 81?
Yeah. Critics is 62.
It definitely wasn't the first one.
No.
81 is kind of high.
Seems like a stretch, dude.
I'll go with the critics, dude.
Yeah, I think 62 is. I would probably say maybe it's a 70.
Right.
It wasn't.
But
it was a lot better than Captain
But we
Marvel.
can't split the hairs. Is it more this one or more that
It's
one?
definitely more 62. If I'm picking one of these, I'm going 62, the Marvels. The Eternals, everybody's favorite movie, including yours.
Yeah, absolutely.
Critics said 47. Audience, they were on that same crack, bro. They said 77.
Wow. Definitely critics.
Yeah, 47. I think that's even high for that movie, honestly. But I have to pick one, I'd go there. This one's a little closer. Secret Invasion. The show that started off on a high note and then went off a fucking cliff, and then off an airplane, and then literally fell off the face of the earth. That's how far the shit dropped. Critics said 52. Audience said 44.
Audience.
Go to the audience, definitely. And last but not least, I mentioned this movie earlier. This one's also close in score, but Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. Critics said 74. Audience said 85.
I think I'll go with the critics.
Critics?
Yeah. Wait a minute. The critics was 74?
Yeah.
Audience. I like Strange's movies.
Yeah?
Yeah, regardless.
Yeah. I would go with the critics. I didn't like it as much as the first one, but I don't dislike this movie as much as most people. That might be one, dude. We might revisit. We haven't done a deep dive in a movie lately, revisit that and break that down. There you have it. And in a future episode, remains to be seen, coming soon. Well, that is What the Fuck Rotten Tomatoes. Let us know where you fall on this, critics, audience. I tried to keep the veteran theme here with all of them except for Doctor Strange. But moving on to a show called The Penguin, Adrian.
Right.
Unfortunately, tonight is the last episode, the season finale. I guess it's good because it's going to set up whatever is coming next from this whole Batman epic crime saga, as they're calling it. Which, again, when I first heard that name, I was like, that's kind of stupid, but it fits so well. It is a damn epic crime saga.
Right.
So, Penguin, Top Hat. This episode was flashback heavy, right? We get to see, we heard some teases about Oz's brothers. They're dead, right? He tells everyone his mom's dead just so that they can't do what Sophia just did, right? But we get to find out exactly what happened. And if anything, it makes you almost dislike Penguin even more.
I definitely do.
Like, this dude's a fucking savage, bro.
Right. Like, he's been an asshole all his life.
Yep. And you see the seeds early on. They're sitting on the couch, and you could just see the jealousy. Right, like your mom's giving the older brother more attention, and Oz is pissed. He wants to stay and hang out with his mom.
Right.
She gets him out of the house with the brothers. But, dude, when he locks him in the fucking sewer and literally kills his older and younger brother.
Yep.
Dude, I was not expecting that.
Nah, me neither, dude. But that explains why he jumped in the hole when the thing went off.
Yep.
So I think they kind of had to set that up.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I found this episode kind of, it was not my favorite episode.
No.
It shines some light on some things. But the main reason that it was not my favorite episode was because it was predictable, right? It set up the explosion. The explosion itself was predictable.
Yeah.
When the car drove in, you kind of knew that was going to happen. I know a lot of people probably expected his mom to be in there. Obviously, he did.
Right.
But that wasn't the case. So it wasn't as, edge of your seat kind of as the other ones have been. So not disappointing, but it was like, I saw that.
Yeah.
coming.
Well, we were riding a high, dude, with the last few episodes.
Right.
They kept getting better. And I mean, ever since Sophia gassed her family, it was like it shit just was off the cliff, dude. Like,
but the thing about it is that I hope this is the worst out of the series. And then they didn't end the season on that shit.
Right.
So hopefully tonight, answer some questions and redeems, the show.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, they got a lot to answer, dude. There's a lot happening right now. I mean, some of the better aspects, like I like and it's hard because I see what you're saying. They had to do this flashback in this episode to connect to the end where, like you said, when Oz goes down the same room or the sewer part where his brothers were killed. But it felt at this point
the water overflow.
There you go.
Room.
So he goes in that same overflow room. So I get you have to have that foreshadowing, but this late in the series, it's kind of hard to have a flashback heavy episode, like because you want to see what the fuck's going on now.
Right.
It kind of felt like a little buffer episode.
I think we're probably going to see some flashback tonight too, because remember, when this show started, Penguin walked in and Victor was on the floor and his mother was gone.
Right.
So I think tonight they're probably shine the light on what actually happened in that room and where Victor is now.
Victor's missing again.
Right.
So yeah, I'm thinking, and this is my my prediction here. I'm thinking that someone's going to get Jason Todded.
Right.
Yep,
right.
I just coined that phrase, Jason Todded.
Jason Todded.
You know what it meant too.
I know what it meant.
I mean, the crowbar's not there for nothing.
Right. Or that dude on it's outside the comics, but in The Walking Dead, when that guy got the bat over and over. I mean, that was pretty, just to see the head fall apart like that. Yeah. That was crazy, dude.
Yeah, I think we're gonna see something, dude. I don't know that Victor survives this show.
But along the lines of the things that were good, Penguin is a beast.
Yeah.
With fighting Maroney.
Yep.
And then Maroney has a heart attack. Like, dude, what's up?
Bro, Penguin's getting his ass whooped, dude.
Right. Well.
And then he just outlasted him. I love when he's dead and he's talking shit to him. It reminds me of the scene in Scarface when Tony's in the car and he won't kill the politician because the kids are in the car and the guy with the bomb's getting pissed. And he fucking blasts him, and then he's like, "Look at you now, you stupid fuck." He's dead.
Right.
And we got the same thing with Oz. Like he flipped it. My man's getting his ass whooped.
Right.
Maroney has the heart attack, and now he's over him talking shit like, "I beat you, I beat you,"
and then shoots him. When he's already dead.
Dude, that was great.
Right.
Fuck Maroney. Dude, I mean, so far, Johnny Vitti and Maroney dying are two highlights of this show for me.
Right.
Because fuck both those guys.
Right. I mean, his mom has always been a mess.
Yes.
Dependent. I mean, looks like she never had a man in her life after these kids, and just kind of like focused on them and whatever work she was doing. But somewhere along the way, she felt that she deserved something, and she put it on Oz to get it for her. So I mean, how do you dress up as sexy as she was dressing up and take your child? Dude. Like what was he then? Like 11 or 12? Take him to a club and that's your man for the night.
Yeah.
My God, read the room.
Like it's just weird, dude.
Right.
It's strange. I wonder if Oz's mom knows that Oz killed the boys.
I think she may suspect.
Yeah.
Why else would she be so twisted?
Right. And why did she put that on him to be successful for her? Right. Like when she's just like, I need you to do this for me. It's almost like she knows he did that, so this is now your punishment.
Right.
Like, you fucking killed my other 2 boys. Now everything's on you.
Right.
You know, I wonder if that, because you're talking about there might be some flashback aspect. I think we will probably see that today.
Yeah.
Like, why, you know, what does she know of that?
And please explain that whole dynamic of him and the mom, because that's some incestuous shit.
Bro, yeah. And now, up until this episode, they made it seem like it was all her, like she was the evil one. Because I was ready to be like, bro, just let Sophia take her, bro.
Exactly.
She's old anyways, you
Exactly.
know, fuck it. Like, she's not a great mom, you know. You don't need a mom now anyways, you're like 50, bro. But then you see the flashback and you realize, like, well, Oz, it's almost Oz's fault that she went crazy because you took out the other 2 boys.
Right.
Sophia just still being a badass as always. You know, she flipped the script on Oz. So as much as you saw the bomb coming, Oz ain't see that shit coming.
Right.
Sophia, she's just, dude, the gloves are off now. She don't give a fuck.
Right. I mean, it was kind of disappointing that there was so much of the flashback, which meant that there was less of Sophia in this episode.
Yeah.
So, and that doctor's annoying. He just needs to go away.
He's probably the worst character in the whole fucking show.
Right.
Like, he's so unneeded. Useless as tits on a bull.
Exactly.
Yep. So, yeah.
I mean, he could play Venom because he looks like him without the costume. Because he gets all up in it and like 3 rows of teeth and stuff. I mean,
let's hope that Sophia takes him out this episode.
Something.
So that would be great. I mean, because so far we've had some satisfying deaths.
Right.
You know, that's kind of fucked up.
If there's such a thing.
Yeah, I mean, in movies.
Right.
Movies,
Sure.
But dude, that's what reminds me of The Sopranos in that way as well. I remember watching The Sopranos and having that one asshole character there, like, yo, Tony needs to whack this guy.
Right.
And the Penguin, we've seen plenty of them. Johnny V takes the crown, but this guy, the doctor, Rush, let's get his ass out of there too, bro. Fuck it.
Oh, speaking of Johnny V, the actor,
yep.
This dude is busy.
Yeah?
Unlike Tarantino, I mean, this dude
Tarantino.
One of them T's. Anyway, this dude is busy. So he's in that show, The Lioness.
Yep.
That I was telling you about.
Oh, he is? Okay.
Yeah. And I've seen him in some other stuff too. But so he's living a long life outside of the Penguin.
Damn. All right. Well, yeah, because he ain't living in the fucking Penguin. That's for damn sure. So anyways, yeah, dude, I'm looking forward to tonight. I do think that I think they'll do a good job of ending.
Yeah.
And that's always, it's like the hardest part for the show, right? Is that last episode.
Man, if they have a Game of Thrones kind of ending
or a secret invasion
kind of ending, man, it's gonna be heartbreaking.
Yeah, let's hope not, dude. But yeah, I also see this a lot online. Like, where's Batman? Where's Batman at? Mm-hmm. I don't think any of this would have hit his level yet. I mean, the bombing of the street,
right? It's going to pique his interest.
Yes, but what you forget is there's so much going on due to the flooding.
Right.
Like, this is still only like a month or 2 after the Batman.
Right.
So I'm sure he's like, if we're getting into that fucking headspace, I would say he's probably working with Gordon trying to clean up a lot of this shit.
Right.
And, dude, it's the mob killing the mob in the shittiest part of Gotham.
Right.
They're like, whatever.
Exactly.
Let them guys. And people are like, this doesn't make sense that he's not there. Dude, he's one guy in Gotham. There's all kinds of the garden, the damn arena's flooded, right? Like, they're trying to save people.
Right. I mean, you got cars like in that complex. You got cars stacked up on top of each other, turned over. The Batman's not going to be worried about that.
They're down in Crown Heights, Crown Point, whatever they call it in Gotham, but it's literally like the slums of Gotham.
Right.
They don't give a fuck what's happening there, and they can't get there because of the whole city collapsing and shit.
Yep.
So, yeah, I don't. That's not like some people try to throw a flag on that. That's not a distraction to me.
Right.
This is going to build to something that's going to hit Batman's radar. That'd be my prediction.
And it's not needed right now.
No,
we don't need Batman. The show is so good that literally it could have been any kind of mobbish movie, right?
Yeah, that's the thing is. We do see some of these shows, I think they did it in the Boba Fett show where they brought the Mandalorian in like halfway through the show because the show sucked.
Wow.
Like, let's just switch it. And then it felt like it was another season of the Mandalorian. Like, where's Boba Fett? Like, what the fuck's going on?
Wow.
When you have a good show, you have a good Penguin show, you don't need Batman there.
Exactly.
And you shouldn't, So anyway, but that's our deep dive into Penguin, the top hat. Now, we didn't see him with the top hat, though. The top hat was the movie he was watching with his mom.
Exactly.
On old VHS, bro.
Fred Astaire.
Oh, really? You know this?
Oh, yeah. I used to watch all that stuff, too.
Damn.
Remember, 3 channels.
And that was on one of them? Yeah, I did not know what that was. I wasn't sure if it wasn't just like some shit they made up for the show. Okay. Fred Astaire. I've heard the name.
Astaire.
I've heard the name, dude. Yeah, but we did not get to see him in the whole, Penguin get up with the top hat. But maybe now the one thing that happened in this is now his base is all just demolished.
Right.
All the drugs and shit are probably screwed up too.
Yep.
So I think he's going to be coming for revenge on Sophia.
Oh,
because he was trying to
absolutely.
like avoid the war almost, right? Like,
right.
Yeah, dude.
Well, I think that he made this this conglomerate, so that he could be better equipped against. Because remember, Sophia and Maroni got together,
right?
So he needed force of his own. So he got the street level gangs to come together, and that was going to be his defense.
Yeah.
I don't think he expected what happened.
Right.
But then Maroni comes in, captures him, brings him to his own lair, tries to take over, and little hand-eye coordination. Next thing you know, Maroni's having a heart attack. Penguin's standing over him talking shit.
I saw this on TikTok. A lot of people said it reminded them of the death screens in the Arkham games. So you've not played these, but there's a series of Batman games. They're all under the Arkham name. And if you die, depending on where you're at in the game, you get like a cutscene of the person who killed you talking shit. And there is one with the Penguin talking shit to you. Like, look at you, Batman. There's a handful with the Joker. And, dude, that's literally what it looked like when he's over there yelling at me. Yeah, so it's pretty cool. Little. All right. So talking about Batman, dude, I see you got Haunted Night over there.
Yes.
Did you read this past week?
I did.
It's the first time you've read this.
Yes.
And you've read Long Halloween. We did that deep dive.
Correct.
Similar. And this cool thing, this actually came out a few years prior to the Long Halloween. And if this is one of the reasons why we even had the Long Halloween in the first place.
Okay.
This series did well. It was actually 3 different comics collected in this one graphic novel. But it did well, and DC wanted more from Jeff Loeb and Tim Sale.
Right.
Who, dude, they're probably my favorite duo in comics. Like,
got you.
I just bought, when we went to the store the other day, I got a Spider-Man Blue comic that they did. I think it's a 4-story deal too, so I've not read that yet. I love Tim Sale's artwork. It's unique. I don't know of another comic artist that looks like this.
Right.
How'd you feel about, because you're big on the artwork. Before we get to the story, how'd you feel about the artwork in this?
Not my favorite.
No, really?
Again, my top guy is John Byrne.
Yep.
Or Byrne, or however you name. So, but the artwork was good. I mean, there are some scenes in there that are kind of iconic.
Yeah.
But again, I get down to like the math sometimes, and it's like there's a side shot of Batman, and the emblem is all the way over here or something. It's like a misplaced nipple or something.
Right.
So I mean, I'm real critical on artwork. So art style wise, it's not my favorite.
Okay.
But it's not the worst I've seen.
Got it. Now, Jeff Loeb, the guy who writes this, one of my favorite writers. He's also done a lot on the comic book shows. Like, he did a lot with the Netflix series, Daredevil. He's been behind the scenes on a lot of really good comic stories, whether it's comic books, movies, shows. I think his writing's really good. I love it in, I say The Long Halloween is probably the best Batman story ever told. How'd you feel about the story in each of these?
I thought the stories were good. It's just that it's kind of like seeing Sam Jackson playing Nick Fury in Civil War. Not Civil War, Secret Wars. Invasion.
Yeah.
Whatever, dude.
That shitty ass show.
That shitty ass show with the cats in the end, right? it's like or Patrick Stewart, you know, in Logan. They just look frail.
Yeah.
And this is how, I mean, because it's really about the psychology. Now, so there's 3 main characters in it, right? Joker, Mad Hatter, and
Scarecrow.
Penguin.
Scarecrow was in the first one.
Scarecrow.
Yeah.
Mad Hatter was
Mad
in
Hatter
it?
was in the second one.
And Penguin was in there
Penguin
somewhere.
was in one of them too,
right?
yeah.
And then Joker showed up in like a dream or something,
Yes. Yep.
right?
Yep.
So, you know, definitely, I mean, there's no Bane, you know, things like that. What's that?
You keep leading them, dude.
All right. So, but all of this stuff was psychological. It wasn't, you know, a lot of physical stuff. I mean, it was physical stuff, but it shows Batman's vulnerability, which is psychological stuff. You know, we had the Martha moments. You know, he ate the bad shrimp and started having, you know, the dreams.
Right.
So it was really, then we had the woman that came in and captured his attention, and it's cool to have alter ego, and the alter ego we agreed is, you know, Bruce Wayne.
Correct.
Making the mistakes, not Batman.
Right.
Because this woman was able to sneak in like quickly, capture Bruce's attention, and she ended up being like a Black Widow kind of a chick, right? So, I mean, this whole book was psychology, not necessarily, you know, the Batman, the Knight that we're kind of used to.
Right, right. Because it was also like a early Batman. You know, they don't tell you exactly when it takes place because it's not part of the, you know, the main canon or whatever. But it was early Batman.
Okay.
What I liked about it too was a lot of, I think most of the fights, they were just Batman just punching the shit out of people. Like it was early brutal Batman. You know, like when he fought. Or when he captures Scarecrow, there's like just a panel where he's just punching him like 4 or 5 times. But actually, hey, go to the laptop shot real quick. Look at that. Look at that Scarecrow. What'd you think about his Scarecrow design?
Simplistic.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, that doesn't mean that it's not effective.
Right.
But definitely simplistic. But that dude's got a long ass head, dude.
Yeah, he does. Dude, he draws. It's very like he leans into the fantasy aspects of Batman. Like even right here, you know, at the beginning, you got Batman with the red eyes.
So that's one of those iconic. Both of those
Yep.
panels are both iconic shots, I think.
Yep. This is early on. So in the first, there's 3 different comic stories in one, right? The first one is all based around Scarecrow.
Right.
He's on the loose. It's Halloween night. So I think the first 2 happen on Halloween. The third story is more of a Christmas story. I really like Tim Sale's Gordon. Yeah, go to this one real quick. His Jim Gordon's awesome.
Yep.
I like these scenes here in the rain. I mean, it leans into the fantasy. Like here's another iconic one, the big shadow on the wall.
Yep, that's one.
This one's cool. I mean,
It's almost like Spawn.
it is very, yeah. Tim Sale's, I like the black and white too with the rose. Tim Sale's Batman, I mean, with the cape is very Spawnish. Then you see him, he gets hit with I know I don't have every page on here, but he goes through that maze and then the poison gets him. And each of these, I mean, like you said, it's a psychological thing.
Right.
You got the bat symbol here. This was cool. Scared Gordon's always in the wrong fucking spot, dude. I like that he took over the bat symbol.
Right.
That was cool. Oh, here's the scene where he's beating the shit out of him. Like, I like that. It's just simple. He's catching him, and then he just hits him like 4 or 5 times and captures him. This was a cool little panel here. But so that was the first one. So the first book, what like we said, was Scarecrow. He gets hit with the poison, but that's when the girl, I forget her freaking name, but the one that basically Alfred finds out that she's up to something, dude. She's trying to, she changes her name. She finds these billionaires. She gets them to marry them, and then they all end up dying, and she keeps their shit.
Yeah, she had like 7 different names. But, you know, Alfred just spit them out, and then she went to someplace else at the end of this this part, and was ready to get with somebody. Had already gotten with somebody else.
Yep.
But then, you know, the note from Batman shows up. You know, reveal yourself or something, like confess is what he said.
Yeah, and then she knows she's hit, bro, because that's Batman. Right. I thought it was, what I like about Jeff Loeb, he does a lot of the traditional Batman narration throughout. Like to me, a Batman story should be narrated by Batman. That's one of the cooler aspects of those comics, and that's also in the Batman. That Batman narrates a lot of that movie, which is why someone said on TikTok a few weeks ago that it felt like a graphic novel on screen watching that movie. But I like the way that you realize or it brings attention to the fact that Batman's human.
Right.
Like, he talks about being tired because he's doing this shit every night, right? And that's also why he kind of slipped up a little bit, got caught by the poison or whatever, and then he went into this, whatever, almost like a fever dream phase because he's tired, the fear gas and all that other shit. But it was cool to see that human element because sometimes our writers portray Batman as just like godlike, and he's not.
Right.
He's got flaws. He's not great at everything, especially early on.
I like the fact that they expose those flaws because a lot of Batman's enemies, they spend so much time trying to do what they want to do, and Batman is studying them, analyzing them, so on and so forth.
Yep.
So you notice Scarecrow in the beginning tried to deliver the poison as a gas, and it didn't affect Batman.
Right.
But then he got him in the maze, and the thorn pricks got him. Right.
Yep.
So he was able to escalate and get a way to get that venom in him regardless. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah, because Batman's always got a way to escape it, and then Scarecrow fucking figures it out.
That's probably why he changed his suit up, too, because this is the classic blue and gray, right?
Yep.
And which is just some cloth.
Right.
And all of his other suits are kind of armored kind of a deal.
Yep. So, yeah, I really like the first book. The second one, we see Barbara Gordon, well, the niece, Babs,
right,
for the first time. She way before her being Batgirl. I like the dynamic with her and Jim. He's kind of her father figure like. He's strict as hell because he's a cop. She's your typical teenager trying to. What'd you think of the design of Barbara Gordon?
It was completely different from what I understand is Barbara Gordon.
Actually, go to it real quick. There you go.
But
big old glasses,
right? But I mean, it's typical to see a nerdy, odd-looking teenage blossom into something else later on in life. So she definitely blossomed into something else.
Sure.
Not only a larger-than-life woman, but also Batgirl.
Right. And here you go, Mad Hatter, dude. You mentioned Mad Hatter. He's a villain that doesn't get brought up a lot, and I think it's testament to how deep Batman's rogue gallery is, right? Like, for a lot of characters, he's a badass villain. But he's never even brought up.
Right.
He's cool. He's psycho.
Of course.
I mean, he literally thinks he's living in the world, the Alice in Wonderland world.
Right.
He's kidnapping girl. Like, it's kind of really fucked up. This is something that would fit the Batman universe.
Right. Then he has the whole house full of kids and runaways
God.
that he's kidnapped or whatever.
Yep.
So again, this is why I say this entire book, these 3 stories were basically psychological thrillers per se.
Yep.
You
Barbara and Jim have a big old disagreement here at the table because she wants to go out trick-or-treating by herself and shit, and he doesn't want to because he knows what Gotham's like. She thinks it's like where she's from. She bounces, and then Batman gets shot in the head.
Right.
And then he's on another psychological trip. It's like he ate a bunch of mushrooms or something.
Right.
He's just fucking losing it. Some of these panels, dude, like the demon mom carrying him in Crime Alley, that's cool. Here you go. Yeah, you're talking about the Alice in Wonderland. So, of course, Mad Hatter kidnaps Barbara Gordon.
Right.
He's got her at the table with all these psychos dressed up. Dude, it's some
and
weird shit.
what was the? I mean, I don't even think they expanded on why he did it. It's just that he just wanted some company. It seems like.
Well, he literally he's fascinated with the Alice in Wonderland story, and that if you remember in the story, there's that scene where they're all at the table drinking tea, and so he just wants her to be his Alice.
Oh, okay, so he doesn't have his own friends, so he goes and kidnaps kids and forces them to drink tea, which is poison or has some kind of sedative in it that prevents them from kind of running away. These things,
mind control, dude. He's the Diddy of the Batman universe. Damn, dude.
Ooh.
If you ever need a Mad Hatter, bro.
I don't know.
It's a guy who can play him.
There's that.
Yeah, talk about method acting.
Yep.
Here's another one. Big old hulked out Batman. That's a nice piece of art here. Leslie Tompkins. She's a character we don't talk a lot about, but you always bring up the human characters, the kind of, and she's a doctor in Gotham.
The supporting actors and actresses.
Leslie, but she's in some Batman stories. She's a doctor who's there for Bruce after his parents are killed initially. But I always like, she's in Hush. She's the one that goes out to the opera with Bruce and Selena and what's his name. But I think I'd like the first story a little better than the second.
Yeah.
Did you feel that way, or did you like the Mad Hatter one better?
No, I didn't like the Mad Hatter one. Definitely the first one.
Yeah.
The first one was more the action thing that you expect.
Yeah.
And only once you get through the Mad Hatter do you realize this is all a psychological thing.
Right.
Especially when and then it's solidified with the, basically the Ghost of Christmas scenes brought on by some bad shrimp.
Yeah, that's shrimp, bro. That's shrimp. Check this out, dude. This is where he punches Mad Hatter right in the face. That's a nice little panel there. And then I like this. We see the kind of first interaction between Batman and Babs over here years before she becomes Batgirl. This is a nice little panel here. Big hulked out. Yeah, dude, I love Tim Sale's Batman.
Yeah.
And then there you go. The Penguin's so crazy looking character. This is the third one, I believe. Yeah, he stops the Penguin, and this is where he eats the shrimp, right? Yeah, he's all sick in the bed. I mean, this is why, a friend of mine texted me, like, who's your favorite Batman? I said, Robert Pattinson. And they're like, no, it's Michael Keaton. One of my main issues with Michael Keaton, like, you see this Batman here, he's jacked, bro.
Yep.
Bro, Michael Keaton looks like he needs a booster seat in the car. No offense, but, like, come on.
Yeah.
Like, and now you could say, Pattinson's not as big as Batman. He's a taller guy.
Right.
He doesn't have as much mass. Maybe he'll put some more on for the next movie. Who knows? Sure. That's where your boy definitely excels, Christian Bale.
Yeah.
Because he put on some mass for those Batman movies.
I mean, and he has a history of doing that.
Yeah.
That he's like the Hulk.
Yep.
In regular life, he's the Hulk, but then he can shrink down. You saw that movie where he lost 90. He was 90 pounds. Yeah, he was 90 pounds.
You see his freaking spine and shit.
Exactly.
And I think I want to say that was in between some of those Batman movies, so it was like a matter of a couple years where he went from thin as a rail, skinny, to 250-pound Bruce Wayne.
Right.
How did you feel about the third story? You're a Christmas guy, dude. This is a classic Christmas story, The Ghost of Christmas Past.
I mean, I thought, Shrimp bringing on all this was a bit ridiculous, but it was cool. It was cool to see. It gets into his demons.
Yeah.
And the things that he really is concerned about.
Yep.
But like you said, I think it was the Hatter, when the Hatter exposed like the deepest, darkest part of him, then he overcame that. He's like, it's done now.
Right.
I've experienced it. I've overcome it.
Yeah.
Now it's just another, chapter in my book of things that I can just move on from.
Right. And I think one of my favorite things about all three of these stories is, since it's a young Batman, you see those flaws. You see things that mentally wouldn't affect him 10 years into the game.
Right.
Because Bruce is a badass motherfucker.
Right.
But this is the first few years where he's kind of
Correction. Batman. Bruce is a playboy.
Yeah, Bruce is a costume, by the way.
Exactly.
But yeah, Batman's a badass motherfucker, but it took him, time to get there, and he's improved along the way.
Right.
So this starts with Thomas Wayne showing up, dude. Check out this little scene here. Showing up, the Ghost of Christmas Past, right? And a lot of the theme here is kind of almost like, you're wasting your life as Batman. Like, you do something to make a difference, right? What do you think about Tim Sale's Poison Ivy, dude?
I think it's spot on.
Yeah.
It's a good rendition of Ivy.
Yep. Yeah, he's awesome. I love his pen. But obviously this is not really Ivy. This is a ghost, something in his mind because of that bad shrimp. And you see the three different ghosts show up. So you had Ivy, you had the Joker. This is a cool panel right here. And then the last one was the Grim Reaper, dude. That's a badass scene right there. So you deal with a lot of, like you said, Batman's demons. And I think that he had a change of heart with Lucius.
Right.
So because I think it goes back to some of the beats they hit on in the Batman. Remember when the politician went up to Bruce Wayne Villarreal and was like, "You're not doing anything anymore. Like you're not donating to anyone. Like what are you doing?" And it's kind of like the story here. Almost Lucius wanted him to start the Wayne Foundation, and Bruce is like, "Dude, I'm just trying to be back. I ain't trying to mess with that. I'm just trying to like kick everybody's ass and clean up the city." But through these ghosts of Christmas past, he had a change of heart and sets up the foundation and puts Lucius in charge at the end. So I don't know. The more I talk through these, the third one might be my favorite one.
Yeah, I mean, it's like redemption. You know, you go and this is kind of what I touched on. You know, there's these people and these characters' lives. We tend to focus on the supervillain or the superhero, and not the people that's around them that help shape them. Yeah. Now, even though it took Bad Shrimp to get him to kind of change his mind and soften him up a little bit, he even was lit up the house and gave candy out for Halloween. Yep. But Lucius is one of those characters along with Gordon, Dick. I mean everybody, Barbara. That kind of like they don't directly give him orders or direct his attention toward one thing or another, but they do psychologically, I think, sit on his shoulders, and whisper little words in his ear as he's Bruce Wayne, because that's the only time that he'll actually listen to something. So I think these people in his life affects him not only as Bruce but also as Batman.
Yeah, absolutely. We get this question a lot here. A lot of the people that watch us are more fans of the movies, the shows, and not so much and that's kind of just where we are now. Like the movies are such a massive part of the comic industry. So one of the questions I always get is, how do I start reading comics? What's a good entry point? Because from the outside looking in, it can be daunting, right? Like there's so many damn comics. But would you agree that this is a good starting point for some if you're a Batman fan?
Absolutely. Any of the early year stories of any character is a good starting point. Right. And then you can kind of figure out where you are. I think the more interesting thing is that, you can also walk into any of these businesses that call themselves comic book places and pick up, because the comic books are so limited, right? You can just pick up one and start reading it. Unlike our comic book store, where if you walked into it, it's like the multiverse of comic books. You would definitely get lost. I don't suggest that going there as a newbie. You might be overwhelmed. But if you do, stop at the counter and ask, "Hey, I'm a newbie. Where do I start in this massive store of yours with the giant Silver Surfer in front of it?"
Yeah, don't just start going up to a crate because you'll be lost. But why I say this is a perfect entry point, if you're a Batman fan, you don't need any prior knowledge of any Batman stories to read this. It doesn't tie in anything else. It's a standalone, and I think it does capture the essence of Batman in these stories and the essence of his villains in Gotham, and it does a good job of making you, like, reading this, what to expect from other Batman stories for the most part.
Well, I would say it would more capture his psychology. Now, I have an on-the-spot question for you. Yeah. So, if this is going to capture the psychology of Batman, now, in this book, it doesn't say anything about how he got started, or his training, or his early the raw Batman that we know him as being a badass. Yeah. What would be so this is the stake. What would be the wine that you would pair with this book that someone can just say, okay, after this book, I'm gonna go.
Oh, next after this.
After this, right?
I would go right into the Long Halloween. Okay. Because it's now. Same duo, Jeff Loeb, Tim Sale, and I think his artwork in The Long Halloween's even better. Okay, but it's a 13-issue story. I mean, I'm telling you, but I'm telling them. You've read it. It's a 13-issue story with a serial killer. It's a mystery the whole time, and you see it is psychological, not as psychological as this, but you see an early Batman developing his detective skills. We see he's already a great fighter, but at this point, he's going from a bad detective to a good detective. Right. And you see his early dynamic with Jim Gordon. You see his early dynamic with Harvey Dent. You see Harvey transition into Two-Face. And if you've, I think it's a great time to read too after the Penguin, because a lot of those characters are in there, and you see Gotham go from being controlled from a crime standpoint, organized crime, just regular people, to supervillains like the Joker, like Two-Face, Solomon Grundy, all these Penguin. They're all in there, and they kind of take over. Right. So you see Batman go from this grounded street level vigilante to now the superhero fighting supervillains. So I would read this first and then go there.
Okay.
Yeah. And I think that, I did the year one video. My theme, I think, with these are going to, because we get that question so much, I'm just going to cover different comic stories that are good entry points. Okay. And you'll see, dude, there's like a million different ones. Right. But I think I would suggest, where do you base your entry point on? Find comics that either tie into or have characters that you like on screen. Right. It's like if you're a big Batman person, year one, Haunted Knight, great areas to start. I'm a big, I don't know, I'm a big Iron Man fan, dude. There's plenty of stories there. Right. I mean, so I'm gonna do some of that kind of where's a good starting point. So gotcha. Haunted Knight's coming up next. I'm gonna do a deep dive on that. I want to show you this real quick because you read this graphic novel version. I have the absolute version. We had it on the show a few weeks ago. I didn't realize that there's another comic story in that version, Catwoman When in Rome. So this story takes place during the Long Halloween. There's a point where Catwoman leaves Gotham to go to Rome. And this came out years later, but it's that story. It's by the same duo. I just wanted to show you some of the artwork. So switch to that real quick. Look at this. Yeah, Catwoman, Batman. It's similar, but it's more like watercolored paint. Or watercolor fill or whatnot, this is, I think that was all the shots I took. Yeah, that's all Haunted Knight. But dude, yeah, this is a nice little standalone story.
They thickened Catwoman up a little bit.
I'll tell you what, bro. Yeah, I tell you, that's whole nother level of Catwoman in that comic. So your boy Tim Sale, he knows what's up, dude.
I think there's a animated movie of Catwoman in Rome.
Is there? There is some animated Catwoman movie. I've not seen it though.
Yeah, I'm not sure the title. Yeah, but she is definitely her thing. Okay. She's off somewhere else doing what she does.
This is a good little standalone story. For some reason, the Riddler's with her, and he's just like a creep the whole time. But she's going to Rome because in the Long Halloween, she realizes that she may be Falcone's daughter or whatever. Right. So she's going to Rome to try to go back to where the family's from and figure this shit out or something. Got it. But it's a fun little story. Cool. Moving on, Adrian. That is our Haunted Night segment. We're going to do a little We Respond here.
Let's do it.
This is where our friends, our frenemies, as you call them sometimes, some of the haters out there, they drop comments, dude. They love us, they hate us, they talk shit. And this is where we respond. Let's do it. We may be nice, we may not be so nice. It happens. We got 214 Gundam 5 says, Ironheart was the worst part of Wakanda Forever. No, I don't. I liked Ironheart, and that's probably one of the better parts, right?
It was. The worst part of Wakanda Forever was Wakanda Forever.
Damn, I got nothing to say to that. I agree. Iffy SA says, another banger of an episode. Yes. You guys make the podcast look so seamless and fun. It's enough to convince me that me and bro could do it too. Wow. Oh, okay. How did Only Comics start, and any advice for ambitious fans? This is a great question. This is the other stuff, so we would dig into it. So could you and bro do it? Sure, why not?
The best way to start is just start. Get your cell phone. Don't worry about how complex it is, the tech. Don't even worry about the tech. Just get a phone, get it somewhere, get a stand. Yep. Right? So your arm don't get tired. Sure. And you and your buddy just hang out and just talk shit.
Just do it. Here, Iffy, the key is being consistent. Right. I don't care if you do your first episode or your first show and you got one person watching and that was you, and the second one is 3 and it was your mom and dad. Who gives a shit? Right. But you got to start somewhere. You're not going to get good at podcasting by not podcasting.
That's right.
Now, we had so how did Only Comics start? I mean, truthfully, I've been doing podcasts for another company for years. Right. Not at this level, but so I had some practice. Mm-hmm. Me and Adrian, we've known each other through working in different companies for years. Right. One day, I found this on my desk, Adrian. You bought this for me.
Yep.
We had never talked about comics prior to this, right? Because we didn't work at the same company. You were a contractor. You did some IT. You were like the Tony Stark, dude.
Yeah, that's it.
Somehow you learned I like Batman. Maybe I had a Batman thing on my computer or some shit. I think that's what it was, a Batman screensaver.
No, I think you had like something on your desk already that was Batman. So
possibly, and you left this on my desk. I had no idea who the hell left it, and I think I saw you that day, and you're like, "Hey, you should get the knife or something."
Right.
And then we started talking about comics.
Yep.
This is like, dude, maybe 10 years ago.
Right.
And around the time Black Panther came out, this was all around that same time.
Right.
It was probably a few months prior. You had asked, hey, you going to see that movie or something? And you started telling me about how awesome Black Panther was.
Right.
Even though you're wearing the Cap stuff, you told me like he would whoop Cap's ass.
Oh, absolutely.
And I think ever since then, we've discussed comics when we saw each other. And then, years later, we're working at the same company, and we would just, on, break time, whatever, we'd just bullshit about comics. And it started as a joke.
Yep.
I was just like, dude, we should record this new podcast.
Yep.
And you were like, yeah, sounds good. And we said that a few times. And then one day, if you remember, I was like, bro, are you joking or are you serious? And you're just like, yeah, fuck it, we'll try it.
Let's do it.
So that, really, like that. I'd like to tell you it was some elaborate plan, some awesome, but that's the only comics origin story, bro.
Right.
It started as a gift, a nice gesture of kindness from the Learning Tree master Adrian himself, and then from that, a few conversations, and a handful of years later, we started joking around. And next thing you know, we're here and we're going on. 80s. This is 82nd episode right here.
Nice, nice. And if we're some kind of inspiration to you, then we are your great shortcut, as I like to call it.
Absolutely.
So we're going to get you, our motivation will hopefully get you from where you are now to where, to starting. We won't say where you want to be, but to starting as quickly as possible.
Right. So, Iffy, have at it, dude. You and bro, hook it up. Hey, you guys build something. We'll do a collab episode.
That's
dude.
it.
You got to get a little following first, though, yeah. But all jokes aside, start something. Do it every week. Don't worry about the results for the first 6 months.
Right.
Nobody's going to watch the first few episodes. That's okay. But then you'll get people now. They'll come and go, dude, I went back and watched every episode. Right. So just keep going.
I think another key is what we're doing right now, responding to your your audience.
Yeah, absolutely. It's probably, honestly, I joke, but it's one of my favorite segments is just going back and forth. And we are going to figure out some type of live deal soon. I mean, really, why don't y'all drop in the comments like times? Hey, what would be a great time to go live? Not saying we're going to do it that time, but give us some feedback.
Yep.
So if we have at it, dude, start. Just don't use the Only Comics name because we'll sue you. No, just kidding. Never Fails 032. Okay, Never Fails. He says, y'all get me through my day at work. Much love to you guys. Keep it up. Good job. Good job, Never Fail. See, we do it for people like that.
That's it.
We got Ryder Fan. We know Ryder Fan. Adrian is a frequent commenter. Hey, Mike and Adrian. Great episode as always. Did you see in the comic news that Jeff Loeb and Jim Lee are teaming up again to do Hush 2, consisting of 6 issues starting in March of 2025? I did see that. So Hush, we've read this.
Yes.
Same writer of, Batman Haunted Night, same writer, Jeff Loeb, of The Long Halloween.
Right.
But my man Jim Lee, who is probably my favorite. Like, I love Tim Sale. Jim Lee's, like, right up there as well. Jim Lee's a beast. He's more in line with your style, the John Byrne style.
Right.
Because I think he took over X-Men after Byrne. Or what? I don't know who was first after. But anyways, Jim Lee, I love his art. Hush is great. But, yeah, I don't think we talked about this. They're doing Hush 2, 6 issues next year.
Nice.
Yeah, you liked Hush, right?
I did, yeah.
And the artwork, phenomenal. So he says, I had a question. When it comes to reading comics, do you prefer to buy a physical copy or to read online using Marvel Unlimited, DC Universe Infinite? What do you prefer?
Paper, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do. I guess it depends on when I'm reading. I like the tablet because you could read in low light. And it just looks amazing, right? Sometimes with the like if I'm at night and the lights are off and everybody's sleeping and I want to pop, I don't feel like having a freaking reading light over me. But I actually prefer the bigger comics, like the absolute versions that I talked about. It's something different about being able to see the artwork. Now, you're not going to get every comic that size, but a lot of the popular stories, the graphic novels are collected in some bigger edition. So I try to get as many of those as possible. But yeah, It's just something about having a physical copy, dude.
Yeah, I mean, we're like I said, the year you were born, I was like in 11th grade or something like that.
Damn.
So most of my experience has been the paper version.
Yeah.
So I'm an old school guy like that. Like, for example, I prefer paper planners. I don't like the digital planners.
Okay.
I have the digital versions of the app for the comic books. I look at them every once in a while,
Right.
but I prefer to have the paper in my hand.
Got it. Yeah, I think I would lean more toward. Now I'll read any one of them. Like if I don't have the paper around me, like when I travel, I don't bring 80 comic books with me.
Right.
I'll bring my I may bring a graphic novel, but I usually just download a bunch on my tablet and then scroll through that. But yeah, it is just something different about being able to just chill with the paper comic. He said also, hot take question: in the event that Bruce Wayne's death proves to be permanent, who do you think would be the logical successor to the Bat Cowl? Great work as always, he says. Keep it up. We will definitely keep it up. I'm a fan. I know you're not with this. We talked about this in the past. I'm a fan of seeing Damian become Batman because he'd be a nut.
No, I'm cool with that.
Oh, you were? Okay.
Yeah.
I thought, man, I have to rewind to go take this back. I have to go through the past episodes now. Dick, Nightwing.
No, Dick has too many psychological issues with the Batman to fully embrace that.
Oh, yeah, he's still butthurt from, everything that Bruce gave him. But
I mean, Dick becoming Batman would be like, Scott Summers becoming Cyclops. Yeah. Becoming Batman. It's like that Boy Scout thing.
That's bad, dude. Yeah. That's horrible. I just gotta get that vision out of my head, dude. Jeez,
I thought my jokes were bad.
But yeah, I think Damian, dude.
Oh yeah,
he would have to lay off the killing, obviously.
Right.
But I think he would be closer to that early Batman. Like he may not kill you, but he may break your arm and your leg and like 8 of your toes, right? Just because you stole something. But
I think, and not a real. Obviously, Damian's not a real person either. But McGinnis. Batman Beyond.
Oh yeah,
the future Batman.
Yep.
I think he would seamlessly fall into like literally the replica because he was of Bruce Wayne being the Batman.
Right. Dude, a lot of people say this take online. So I pay attention to the interwebs, Adrian. I know what the kids out there are saying. They say that Michael Keaton would be a good Bruce Wayne in a Batman Beyond type of movie. How would you feel about that now that he's that age?
What is going to be like his grandfather or something?
Well, in Batman Beyond, Bruce sets up the kid. Right. He's like the mentor.
Right.
So.
Oh, you mean okay? He would be the
Bruce Wayne.
older Bruce Wayne.
Yes.
Teaching McGinnis.
Yes.
I could see that.
Yeah. I would, but I got one better for you, Adrian, because he's probably at the age where he could pull this off. Christian Bale.
Yeah. Either him or the guy that played in the Titans.
I want to see him as Batman, Alan Richardson or whatever. I just want to see him as like real-time Bruce Wayne Batman.
Yeah.
But I think Christian Bale could pull off that older Bruce Wayne. Because at least that Bruce Wayne, we won't hear this. He won't have to talk like that. And if he doesn't do that, I'm fine. So,
right.
Well, there you go, dude. Ryder fan came with all the questions, dude. Good job. Braidner Skin. What the fuck? Braiding her skin? Why are you braiding her skin, dude? 6929 says, new to listening. Found you guys on TikTok, and you make my day with your videos. If you haven't done it yet, Slade Wilson Deathstroke would be a great hidden gem to go through.
And I agree.
That is a great one, dude. Deathstroke's a badass.
Slade Wilson Deathstroke. I didn't like the guy who played him, even though he played a pretty good guy in Spartacus, Gladiator.
The guy who played him in Titans or the other show? There was 2 on screen. I forget.
I think the other show, because he showed up in Green Arrow.
Oh,
things like that. That guy.
What about, did you like the portrayal in Titans? It was a second season.
I only saw him in costume, so I don't remember seeing the face of the guy.
Remember he had the kid who was like deaf, I think, and then the daughter was hit. I forget her name, but that was a pretty good season. Miles Dixon 6397 says, I would love to know Mike and Adrian's workout routine.
Well,
it ain't much right now, I'll tell you that.
It's definitely not much.
No,
we just built this way.
We just built this way, dude. No, honestly, I took a few months off, but it's about consistency.
Right.
10 years I've been going to the gym. Here's some rules for you. Don't miss more than two days in a row. Mm-hmm. Don't do that. And even if it's only a 30-minute workout, just get that shit in. There you go.
Mobility, I believe, is key. Because you can find things to lift and all this other kind of stuff. Mobility, flexibility, because your goals is different than my goals.
Sure.
Because of the age gap.
Right.
I don't need to be – when I was younger, dude, I was eating 3,000 calories a meal 3 and 4 times a day.
Oh, damn.
I was a beast, dude. I couldn't even do this back in the day. And then I started thinking about it. Dude, I don't want to be a pro
correct
bodybuilder. And then my lifestyle, being in the military, I'm popping around. I can't be that guy.
Right.
So why am I going to stay this big, right? So, you start like figuring out ways to do things and be a certain way. I cannot not exercise because my body literally falls to shit if I don't.
Right.
But I can't be that big, huge guy either.
Yeah.
And now when the older you get, staying lean, and which I am not now right now, but staying lean and flexibility, mobility is key for me.
Yeah.
Because that's more important than bench pressing a car.
Right. And I went through the same thing where I was deadlifting over 500 pounds, but I'm like, why? I'm not competing. What do I need to do this for?
Exactly.
So I took some time off to kind of just get my diet right, all that kind of stuff. But the key is, it's just like anything, consistency. Like I said, I just had these little rules. Like I wouldn't eat. My diet wasn't perfect, but I wouldn't eat junk during the day. If I ate anything junk food related, it'd be after my workout. Don't miss more than 2 days in a row. That was always key, because once you're on that third day, it starts to really, like 2 days you can bounce back. And dude, don't take time off.
Right.
That's key. Get it in, bro. So Miles Dixon, get in. Hey, Josh Strickland. Hey, Josh, he's a frequent commenter. We could come up with a name for frequent commenters,
There you go.
I don't know. Badass motherfuckers, no. Never would have guessed Adrian was from my state. Oh, shit. He's from Mississippi. He says, he's right, though. We can't keep a comic store for nothing. I think there are only 4 in the entire state. It's very depressing. I have to get mine from Midtown in New York. Damn, bro.
Wow.
You got some brethren here, bro, right? From Mississippi.
You know what that means, right?
What's that?
I'm talking too much.
JBuck8087 says, chill on the soundboard. Feels like, well, I can't hear you, dude. There's a ding every 30 seconds. Russell Dow is 1840. Love the show. I love the Batman Year One review. He loved it. You'd love it too. Go watch it. Why are you watching this? Go watch that.
Right.
You mentioned that it's great, not perfect. So I wanted to know if you guys have a perfect comic story, or at least some that are close. Good question. It's a great question. I mean, a bunch that we just mentioned. To me, The Long Halloween is pretty damn close to perfect.
Yeah.
And Hush is pretty damn close to perfect.
In recent memory, I would say the Long Halloween.
Yeah.
I mean, I've read so much stuff. Like even like the Secret Wars.
Yeah, I mean, I'll put that up there too, right?
Flashpoint. Things like that.
Would you say both of the Secret Wars are near perfect, one more than the other?
I'm akin to the first one.
The first one?
I mean, that's the one I grew up with.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, and I'd lean more. I think they're both really good. I'd probably lean more towards the second one. House of M. I don't know if you've read this one yet. That's one that's freaking great. Civil War. Civil War is one where I would argue that the story's better. As much as I love that movie, the story is probably better in the comics than in the movie.
Oh, yeah.
X-Men versus Avengers and these are more newer ones. That one's great. Old Man Logan's another one that is near perfect. The one we saw at the store, the old Wolverine with the claws on the front when he goes to Japan.
Yep.
That's a great one. Avengers Disassembled. This is it's not collected as a graphic novel for some. Hey, Kevin, get with Marvel Comics and get them to make this a graphic novel. I mean, why? Why not? You know, what the fuck is wrong with them? Jesus. But yeah, there's a handful there, but and we'll incorporate more comics into this. So you bought was it Lanterns graphic novel?
Yep.
So
well, that's another one, another series I liked, like the Green Lantern Corps. The Green Lantern, the movie that was made was atrocious.
Yeah.
But I really like the whole concept of the Lantern Corps.
Yeah, so there's a bunch. We'll be talking about them more, and yeah, once you're done with that Lantern, dude, I'll check it out.
Yep.
We can talk about it on here. Bro-Man Williams is back, dude. I think he is just God Mode reincarnated,
Right?
You know,
Yeah. What happened to God Mode?
Dude,
Still haven't heard from him.
we don't know where he is. Hope he's all right.
Yeah.
Shit, dude. God Mode, where you at, bro? Chime in, because you have to fight Bro-Man Williams for the title now,
Right.
Bro-Man says, "What's up, Mike and Adrian? What's up, Bro-Man? It's the new God Mode, Bro-Man Williams." Okay. He says, "I'm gonna be honest. Before joining Only Comics, I like that he has joined Only Comics.
Right.
I thought the Batman was mid as fuck. Damn." But after watching a few episodes of Only Comics and going back to rewatch it, I must say Mike has turned me around. Yes, on this, and the Batman is you're gonna love this part, second favorite Batman movie after Dark Knight.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was going to talk some shit, but I'll leave it alone.
Saved it at the end, huh?
Yeah.
But that's what we do, man. We bring people into the light.
That's it.
You know, because think about how much better his life is now that he likes this movie. You know, it's game changing. Reed Ashley 4611 says, "He's great, but this version," he's talking about the Batman. "He's great, but this version will be rebooted in 3 years, just like everything else in the DC and the James Gunn experience. 100 Batmans, 60 Superman, no Green Lantern ever. DC is clown shows. Can't watch because they will reboot Batman next year." Okay.
That's probably true, though.
Well, it's not a reboot, though, because you're familiar with comics.
Yeah.
There can be several versions of Batman at one time. There's several versions of Spider-Man. There's several.
Sure.
So the Batman is the way DC has categorized it is an Elseworld story. Mm-hmm. So in the comics, the Elseworld stories are like the what's the Batman with the Joker face?
The laughing Batman.
Yeah, Batman Who Laughs. That's an Elseworld story. It takes place somewhere down the multiverse.
Sure.
So the Batman crime saga is meant to be Elseworlds. The problem is it's just so much better than anything else they've done, so people think it's like mainstream. His Batman Brave and the Bold is going to exist separately, according to what they've said. So unless they change it, and it won't interfere with this one. Now, do you fall on the side, Adrian, where we shouldn't have two different versions of Batman on screen at the same time, or does it really matter?
I don't believe that there should be two versions of Batman or any character on the screen at the same time. But I do believe that there should be some continuity between like the TV shows and the movies. Like the kid Grant, whatever his name was, that played the Flash on the CW should have been the Flash on big screen. I mean, he nailed it.
It was good, yeah.
But we got that shit show, Ezra Miller. And so multiples, no. Continuity, yes.
Got it. Okay. So you kind of agree with Reed Ashley here a little bit. And are you Ashley or are you Reed? Which one are you? But yeah, I don't think that there's going to be 60 Supermans or 100 Batmans. Right. I do wish, though, that they would wrap up. Now, it would just take longer for the DCU to kick off, but wrap up the Batman trilogy before we see James Gunn's Batman.
I agree. And typically, I think that's what a lot of people see when they switch actors. Tobey Maguire, blah, 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 Tom Hardy, whatever his name.
Yeah.
I think people see that as a reboot.
Yeah.
And it's not a reboot.
No, it's not.
It's just a re-envisioning of, like, who has spider webs coming out of their wrists, like without the webs, without the tech.
Nope.
Right? So there's revisioning, and I think people see those as reboots, and they're not.
Right. The Land Fan 16. He's a fan of the land. You don't like the water, bro? Started watching.
Or the air.
Yeah, or the air. Started watching Spawn cartoon on Max based on your suggestion. Ooh. Thanks. Dude, if everyone just listened to us.
Wait a minute. We got an age check this dude. How old is he? Old or girl, whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, Spawn's a little.
It's old, bro. Yeah. Yeah. How old are you?
No. I mean, it's a little adult oriented.
I got.
Is what I'm saying.
Yeah, you're saying like.
Language.
Yeah,
exactly.
No, he looks older. He looks old. He looks old enough.
Okay.
You know. He says, "Thanks. You guys are fun to listen to. Not that you give a shit, but I'm listening every week. We definitely give a shit.
We definitely give a shit.
Yeah, we appreciate you listening every week. More people should listen every week. Maybe not these couple here. You got.
My God, read the room.
Ken Ball says, how about Michael Shannon as Doom? And then Six Past Doug says, Cillian or Chillian, or however the fuck you say his name, Murphy should be the main Doom. Okay, that's it. Robert Downey Jr.'s Doom. We don't care about Michael Shannon, Michael Jackson, Michael Murphy. And I don't give a shit. Robert Downey Jr.'s Doom. That's it. So, nope. Six Past Doug. This is great for We Respond.
Right.
If you left a good comment, you get this. Mm-hmm. If you have any bit of jackass in you, that's what you get. And you fucking deserve it, okay? Buddy Freak. Whoa. Bro, with the freak-offs and all that, dude, you might just want to change the name, dude. Yep. You might as well call yourself, Baby Oil God or something. All right, this is the other stuff. We should do a whole podcast on just other stuff.
Right.
Don't even nothing about comics. No comics. We're going from only comics to no comics. Buddy Freak, can you rank heroes with best story arc in the MCU? All right, let's go off the cuff. There's no thought here. I mentioned Loki.
Right.
Tony Stark, obviously. Yep. Right. What about Rocket?
Oh, that was
he had a really good arc.
Dude, I had eye sweat on that.
You had eye sweat on that, dude. Yeah.
That was amazing, dude.
Yeah, and from where he came, I mean, he was an asshole, So I'd say, and I don't know what order, but Loki, Tony, Rocket, Cap had a really good arc.
Right.
Who else? Who else am I missing?
I won't say it's much of an arc as an interesting story, but even, T'Challa.
T'Challa did, yeah. Till they fucking wouldn't recast him.
Right.
When we are on with Kevin later, he's gonna hear all about this.
That's it.
I've had enough. But I think those would be some of my top. I mean, Spider-Man, but he's still going.
Right.
I think he's had a good arc so far, but he's still going. Doctor Strange is still going.
Yeah. Wonder Woman, except that.
I think he said MCU.
MCU.
What about Black Widow? The Sacrifice.
Yeah. Even though I thought she was nonsensical and, miscast.
Right.
But outside of that.
Yeah. I'll tell you who had the best arc ever. Gaia in Secret Invasion.
Exactly that.
Smooth Johnny Spade says, love your show. From a 47-year-old blind man from Kentucky. Hold on. You're what? Oh, he's listening. But he's typing on TikTok. I don't know how that works.
What?
He's blind, and he loves our show. I don't know if you're fucking with us or you're really blind. If you are, either way, we appreciate you checking us out, listening, watching. But how are you typing this?
Braille. But, I mean, Smooth Johnny, that sounds only fanish.
Smooth Johnny. Okay. He says, refreshing to listen to a take from fellas my age. Thank you. All right,
okay. So he's listening
and
then typing probably with the aid of something or Braille.
Dude, that's interesting. I'm not trying to fight. That's interesting. That's awesome. But we appreciate that. But I'd love to know how that works because I don't have many blind people around me. I don't know how the whole TikTok, all that stuff works.
Huh.
Cool.
That is interesting.
That is, dude. Well, I hope you're telling the truth.
Let us know.
Yeah, let us know, Smooth Johnny. Jay Gill, 75, says, I know Marvel has trashed Hulk, but where is he on your guys' list? Hulk, I think, was on the first time we did our list. I think I had Hulk on there.
Right.
I put him in my top 10.
Hulk is so awesome. Especially, I haven't gone back to this. There's a YouTube video.
Yeah.
It's like a mashup between him and Superman.
Yeah, you sent it to me.
The art is shit.
Yeah.
But whoever put that together was just awesome. And it shows just the true power of Hulk like it's never been portrayed before.
Right.
I mean, Hulk is just awesome. And then like the different renditions of him, amazing. I think I don't even mention him a lot, because it's not work because people really don't have an idea of how powerful this guy is.
Right. Yeah. Hulk is definitely one of my top characters.
Yeah.
I would say that the MCU has kind of caused me to lower him on my list because of the god awful fucking atrocity that Hulk has become.
Right.
To where She-Hulk is a better Hulk than the fucking main Hulk. Like, what the hell?
Don't the two cousins smash and have like a family of Hulks that go around, and
if they're from Alabama, they do.
and they're like what do you call them? Enforcers.
Yeah.
Going around stealing people's rent money or something.
And Old Man Logan, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. So, but yeah, Hulk is he would have been up a lot higher if they hadn't destroyed him. But I've always been a big fan of Hulk.
Absolutely.
And a couple, I'm not going to go through everyone, but we posted our video of our top 5 comic characters, and a lot of the followers chimed in on there. So Big Chili says Hulk, Batman, Thor, Green Lantern, Kyle 5, or Green Lantern / Kyle, and Colossus. It's a good list.
That's another one that got fucked up. Colossus.
Yeah. Yep.
They really messed him up on the screen. I mean, he's another one of my favorites too.
He's a badass
in the comics.
Yep. TGR187 says Silver Surfer, Superman, Spawn, Spider-Man, and Hulk.
All the above.
Yep, that's all good. Ripper Blackheart says Batman and Wolverine are also my top 2. Smart man. Michael Spit 0. Okay. Batman, Daredevil, Red Hood, Punisher, Cyclops. And he says movies sucked. Yeah, Cyclops has not been done justice yet.
Right. I mean, definitely much more respect in Cyclops in X-Men 97.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I like to see what they do with his brother today too.
Yes.
Havoc.
Yeah.
I like to see what they do with him.
You could base the X-Men story around the Summers family.
Right. Oh, absolutely. The whole kidnapping, the father, the mother getting raped by an alien, and the baby being incubated outside of the family. I mean, that's crazy, dude.
You could do that origin. You could have Cyclops grow up to be the X-Men Cyclops, have him deal with Havoc, and then later on, in like the 8 years later, have Corsair come back and do that whole dynamic after Cyclops is a badass X-Men.
Right. And the baby that gets snatched out of their mother's womb, right? He ends up being badder than all of them put together.
Let's fucking go.
Let's do it. Let's get it done. King Thor says Batman, Thor, of course, Wolverine, Zatanna. Zatanna? Is that how you say it?
Zatanna's pretty badass too.
Yeah.
Works a lot with Dr. Fate.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Green Lantern, Jon Stewart version.
Okay.
And he said 6 would be Cap. Okay. Disgustipation.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah, let's have an episode about how people come up with their names.
For real. What is that? Disgustipation. Wolverine, Magneto, Thanos, Superman, Iron Man. That's cool.
Okay.
Someone says Ghost Rider. The loudest guy you know says Ghost Rider will be my number 1. No one can touch the Rider. Okay. 246 Marcus says Silver Surfer, Superman, Thor, Wolverine, Magneto, Storm. I think you got more than 5, bro. Naming characters good. Counting. No. Last one here, Bryant V Real Estate. Oh, he's on his real estate account talking comics. Bro, you're going to get fired. Don't do that shit, bro. Come up with a comic account.
He's an independent contractor.
Oh, I hope so. They're like, bro, you ain't selling no houses this week. Yeah, but I was watching only comics.
That's it.
He says Batman, Spider-Man, Superman, Wolverine, and comic-accurate Hulk. There you go.
There you go.
You know what? One more. B. Ryan. Maybe. Venom is his number 1. Batman 2. Spider-Man, Joker, and Rocket Raccoon.
Okay.
It's nice. So, dude, I think all in all, a lot of great lists on there.
Yeah.
This is a user 2234 is.
I don't even know who you are.
You can't get a username, seriously? This guy's disgustification or whatever he called it. I mean, God. But anyways, he says, you guys are freaking amazing. Yep, I love all your takes. All of them.
Oh.
Don't always agree, but please keep doing what you're doing. Love y'all's video. We need more people like that in the world.
Absolutely.
They don't agree, but they know that we're just freaking awesome and they love us.
Not just in our channel, but in the world.
In the world, yeah. Matthew Fink says, so not favorite, but who do you think is the biggest hero within their universe? The one who in their universe everyone looks up to the most? He says for DC, Superman, and for Marvel, Captain America. you agree with those?
I would agree.
Yeah,
with
I don't
those.
know who else you'd put over those. I mean, selfishly, I will put Batman, but he's not really looked up upon. People think he's an asshole sometimes. I don't. Those people, we got to get them checked out.
And Spider-Man, even though he's probably number 1 or 2 as far as comic book characters in the world,
right?
People don't really. I mean, he's a kid, so
exactly.
They don't really look up.
Yeah,
to him.
no, I don't see no issues there, Matthew Fink. The Ferg FTW1. This is his kind. He just says the pod and the TikTok channel. Okay. Gregory B says, as soon as they let Kang get defeated by ants, it was over. MCU Thanos worked because he was an undeniable threat. RDJ has the chops for Doom and arguably the greatest Marvel villain. So there's a lot here. I agree with the Kang take. I agree with the Thanos, and I definitely agree that RDJ has the chops.
Right.
Would you say he's arguably the greatest Marvel villain, Dr. Doom?
The greatest Marvel
bold
villain. I would have to think on that one.
Yeah.
He is definitely
He's
up there.
Yeah. You know, I have to get back to you on that. You know? Yeah, we cannot decide that. We'll get back to it at a later date and time. R. Bernie80 says, why was casting RDJ not lazy? Have you guys done a vid on this? I'm interested on your take on it. Well, I don't understand lazy because there's work that goes into this. I think that it's genius, and I think that what people forget is that this is a business.
Right.
In order for them to continue to make movies, the movies they make have to be successful.
Right.
And if I know for a fact that if I put this individual in this movie, he's a phenomenal actor and he's going to help us, he's going to give us the best shot at having a successful movie, I don't see anything lazy about it. It seems like it's just the right thing to do.
Right.
It's smart.
I think they're calling it lazy because you already have an established. Now, I think a lot of people forget where RDJ came from,
right,
or how he got to play the roles that he's playing.
Yeah.
So there was definitely nothing lazy about that. I think they're thinking that the lazy part is, of course he can play Doom, just moving from here to there.
Correct.
That's lazy.
Okay.
But I agree, it's genius.
It's genius.
Because it's the natural progression. So you kill this guy off.
Right.
Why waste the talent?
Right.
He's older now. You know, they listen to us. You know, you can't be having 80-year-old dudes jump out of Mach 3 planes.
Correct.
Right.
Right.
So it's a natural progression for the actor to move into a position where he doesn't have to be flying around. You know, in a bullet casing.
Correct.
You know, so genius.
There you go, Adrian. You're on it, dude. But yeah, it's also what y'all forget is Doom is a suit. He don't need to be. All he has to do is have a face, bro.
Right.
He don't need to be this massive guy. He wears a suit. He wears a mask. He's disfigured. He's probably going to have makeup. People are like, they're not going to cover Robert Downey Jr.'s face. Dude, his name sells alone. They did it with Colin Farrell.
Right.
You can't even recognize him.
I didn't even know he was Penguin until you told me.
Now everybody's singing this with Colin Farrell, Colin Farrell. Like, you can do the same thing with RDJ.
Exactly. I mean, Ryan Reynolds, Deadpool.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't see him 99.5% of the time.
It looks like a beige raisin. Alex Lopez says, so we get you guys hate the DCEU. Is it just that or all of DC? No, I don't hate DC at all. The DCEU was dog shit. I mean, think about this roll of shitty fucking movies. Like, Man of Steel wasn't bad.
Right.
Batman and Superman was a shit show. I mean, this nonsense, right?
Justice League.
Justice Leagues were, a shit show after a slightly better shit show, after a black and white shit show, and after a bunch of idiots. Restore the Snyderverse. No, destroy the Snyderverse.
Right.
Fucking kill it dead. So, no, I do not. I think DC has, especially Batman, has some of the best comic stories that could be movies and shows. And it's just, for whatever reason, they want to let's don't give them too much Batman content. Let's do Batman stuff without Batman. Let's do this sideline shit. Dude, just take the... People sometimes they give Marvel shit about their overuse of Spider-Man, but like you said, he's the top 1 or 2 character in the world. Right. So what you should do, give people more Spider-Man.
Right. I think the only redeeming movies that's come out from DC recently has been they did a phenomenal job of bringing Aquaman. Yeah. Because Aquaman was shit in the comics, right? He's supposed to be the underwater version of Superman. Right. And they made, in the movies, they made him the underwater version of Superman. So 1, of course, was better than 2, but still. I think that was a redeeming thing. And then like the first Wonder Woman.
Right.
So outside of that, not so much.
And the fact
Even though I like Henry Cavill as Superman, but they nerfed him.
It should have worked. With what they had, it should have worked.
Right.
You had Ben Affleck as Batman. Looks like Bruce Wayne right off the page of the fucking comic book. He's the bigger guy, especially for that movie, the older Batman. Henry Cavill, Superman, great.
Right.
Gal Gadot, I think, as much as at first I was a little iffy, she owned that role.
Yep.
Ezra Miller as Flash was a shit show.
Right.
But like you said, Jason Momoa as Aquaman, they had all this going.
Yeah.
They had Zack Snyder. They had the slow-mo. They had all kinds of shit, and they just ruined it, dude. It's almost like, bro, someone gave you all the ingredients to make this the perfect birthday cake, right? And then you put everything in there, you stir it up, and right before you put it in the oven, you decided for some reason to take a giant shit in that bowl after you ate that same shrimp that Batman ate in the Haunted Night. So, no. Trunks Bagger says, would Snyder's Superman beat MCU Thor? Going by feats on film, ignore comics, Thor has Mjolnir. MCU Thor would fucking shove Mjolnir up Superman's ass so far he'd be back to fucking Krypton. That's my take. And maybe it's wrong, but that's what I'm going with.
It would be a good fight, but Thor would get his ass kicked.
Damn. Shit. All right. Well, we're going to agree to disagree, Adrian. Shit, I just can't go there with fucking Snyder's Superman, dude. Shiz official. I like that. Shiz official. Shiz is official here. Toby was a good Peter, but a so-so Spider-Man. Andrew was a good Spider-Man, but his Peter was way too cool. Tom was good at both. I agree across the board.
I agree with that.
All right. You even agree Andrew was a good Spider-Man? You wouldn't even go that far?
I mean, I don't think there's such thing as a bad Spider-Man, but he was the worst of the 3.
Okay, it's all relative.
It's all relative.
Brian Messina says, nah, Rogue wins. The fuck? Rogue versus, yes. Okay, wins the fuck. Jordan Isle 81, Spider-Man beats anybody, including Batman with prep time. Stop. Spider-Man ain't beating Batman with prep time.
No.
This is crazy. Jordan Isle 81 says, no, Venom 3 The Last Dance is the best Venom. You just over to Jordan. He says the best Venom movie. T. Miller 5150. Yeah, not everyone should have a podcast, just so you know, guys. Thank you for that. Thank you. Sure. Not everyone needs to fucking watch either, right. T. Miller. Luacow says, Agatha all along was mid. Funko ruined the character reveals early on. Then near end, we find out what Billy wants. Show ends and nada. Meh at most. The reason I had this in there is I wanted to go back because last week I was kind of praising the ending.
Yeah.
And I realized that I fell asleep through the midpoint of the last episode. So I rewatched both of these. What I will say is this show should have ended at episode 8. That was the Agatha's dead, the flowers grow over her, all this shit.
Right.
We find out that Billy or Wiccan is the one that created the whole thing. He's back in his room and he sees all these objects that remind him of different things that happened on the road, like the Green Witch, like the fucking craft poster, all these little things, the house. You see all this, like that was what inspired him to create the road, similar to how Wanda created the
So he's having a Kaiser Soze moment.
Kind of, yeah. Like he realizes that it was all him because he's doesn't know how to control his power as well as Wanda, but he has similar levels of power, right? It ended there. Agatha, the witch or the ghost version shows up. Show ends. Oh, that's a pretty good ending. Then we get the backstory of Agatha and her son. They got to sing the fucking song 8 times again. And we see the ghost Agatha interacting with Wiccan. And it just, that episode went on, and I'm like, why is this happening? They should have just ended it.
Alrighty.
So I agree with, I would say it was not horrible. It was better than Secret Invasion. It was better than, that might be the only show was actually better than. But it was better than She-Hulk.
Okay. Eternals?
It's definitely better than Eternals, yeah. But I would say mid's a good way to put it, Lucal. So that's all I have to say about that, Adrian. Moving on to Hidden Gem. You had a couple more requests this week. You had Deathstroke up in there, and you had a laundry list from these individuals. So who is it this week, dude?
All right, so this week, this is by request.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to get right into it because we did some flapping today.
We did yapping.
So flapping, yapping.
Okay.
Depending on what body part you want to envision being open at a time.
I'm going to stick to the yapping, I think.
All right. So this week is Etrigan.
Okay.
Now, so I told you guys that, old comic book head. I did a lot of mythology back in the day. Well, I also did a lot of like Dungeons and Dragons stuff, right? So this character is right up my alley, along with the Dungeons and the Dragons and King Arthur, Merlin, Morgan Le Fay, all of that stuff. I've loved all of that stuff. So Etrigan first appeared American Comics, 1972, then was rebooted in 2011. This whole reboot, they kind of it's like they make these tweaks or adjustments, and they will either completely rewrite the character or they will make some minor adjustments. Like As White from last week, Boots to Gold, he was such a crud in the future that he had to steal some shit, go back in time, so he can be his own favorite person in the universe.
Got it.
It was so bad that they made it a sob story that he was doing what he was doing to save his mom. Yeah. I'm not saying that this is the case with Etrigan. Actually, it is not the case with Etrigan. They just kind of changed up how he became what he was. So Etrigan was basically a demon from hell who was summoned in the first iteration. He was summoned by Merlin to help him fix some stuff.
Okay.
And after he did whatever he did, he bonded him with this then guy, one of Merlin's sages, Jason Blood. As a result of this combination of the demon with the human, Jason Blood became immortal, right? So he's walking throughout time. He disappears at some point, pops up in recent times as this a kind of a demonologist in Gotham City, of all places. So that's why Etrigan has all of these interactions with Batman and such, right? So he resurfaces, and all this time he's been this human, not really knowing that he also had this demon thing.
Okay.
Well, so he goes on assignment, and he goes to this place where Merlin is supposed to be buried, and he starts reading this enchantment. And this enchantment turns him back into Etrigan. And that enchantment is basically how he pops in. It's like a double personality, but one sits in the back seat. They change who's the driver. Jason Blood is the human. Etrigan goes behind. Etrigan jumps in the front seat. Jason Blood goes behind. So one of their characteristics is that they share each other's adventures or their experiences, regardless of what form they're in.
Okay.
So he does this chant to become Etrigan, and he does another chant to become human.
Got it.
So pretty interesting character.
Is it like the Witch's Road song? Or
no. It's actually, what is it? Change. I'm not going to read the whole thing just in case.
Yeah, I don't want you to change
I
into
transform.
a demon here.
Exactly. I got enough cool stuff going on. I don't need to mess it up by becoming a demon.
Right.
But typically he'll gone, old former man, and rise the demon Etrigan. That's how he becomes Etrigan.
Yeah.
And then be gone, oh Etrigan, resume once more the former man is how he becomes Jason Blood. Pretty interesting power set. I won't get into a lot of his stuff. I mean, he has the typical, not the typical, but the adventures. One of the adventures is what is actually an animated movie about it. He's fighting Wonder Woman, who seems to be possessed, and what's his face? It'll come to me. The other demonologist guy. Anyway, so he's fighting Wonder Woman, and Wonder Woman actually puts a sword through his chest. So he has some limitations, but he's still a cool guy, right? So his powers. He's mystically enhanced with superhuman strength, can withstand a bunch of stuff like Superman, Wonder Woman. They put Lobo on that level. So Lobo, the flying space guy with the cigar, he's like a spacefaring Wolverine without the claws. he was able to. I mean, his strength is such that he's able to punch Superman into orbit. So pretty strong, right? High degree of resistance to injury. Project hellfire from his body, usually in the form of hellfire like Johnny Blaze, Ghost Rider.
Yeah.
He usually projects it from his mouth. He has mystically enhanced fangs, and claws. They're actually able to hurt Superman, which, of course, because Superman's, besides kryptonite, his other vulnerability is magic, which is why Black Adam is such a problem for Superman. The magic. Super speed, super senses, agility, telepathy, energy blast, precognition. So he can actually observe past events in real time without interacting with the person in the past. So that's pretty cool. Teleportation. He can summon other demons. And the thing about the physical part about him, we talked earlier about Batman's psychology, right? So he's a sadomasochist. So when he gets in fights, he enjoys it. So the more pain and fighting he gets involved in, the more he actually enjoys it. So he's definitely not going to back down from any kind of fight, right? Healing factor. He can heal, like if large chunks of his body, gets removed, he can heal from that. So that's pretty cool. Pyrokinesis and cryokinesis. So he's a demon, and with the hell fire, you think that's the only thing that he does, but he also has a control of ice. So he can project fire and ice. Necromancy, he's able to raise the dead, right? He's like Terra from the Titans. He can affect the earth itself, move things around. Aerokinesis, strong gusts of wind, so kind of like Storm. Photokinesis, flashes of blinding light. And illusion casting, so he can, kind of like Doctor Strange, he can make you see things that's not actually there. Yeah. So, I mean, all those things are, and most of that is the magic side of him. Now, the Jason Blood part of him, Constantine, that's the person he was fighting against Wonder Woman.
Which you've done as a hidden gem, right?
Constantine? Yeah. Yes, I've done Constantine. So as Jason Blood, he's a highly skilled hand-to-hand combatant, coming from that time. I think it was like the 1300s he was born or something. Yeah. Adept as magic, not as much as Constantine or like a Doctor Strange on the Marvel side, but, adept at magic. Limited precognition and telepathy. And of course, immortal because he's bonded with this demon. Damn. Now, Etrigan, even though he's a demon, he's like Thor in the Asgards. Yeah. He's an Asgardian, which gives him certain powers, but he's like the top notch, the number one guy as of demons, even before he was bonded with Jason Blood. And he shares Etrigan's weaknesses because Etrigan is a demon, right? Think of The Exorcist. Yeah. So he doesn't like, the holy water, anything that's holy power. Got it. Talisman, idols, holy grounds, things like that.
He fuck with baby oil?
I don't know about the baby oil.
But the holy water is off limits.
Off limits on the holy water and the holy grounds.
We'll have to find out about the baby oil.
And the interesting part about this is that even though Merlin summoned Etrigan, Merlin and Etrigan are half brothers.
Oh shit! So
their father is Belial, a demon from hell, but their mothers are different.
Got it.
So, what is 13th day of the 13th month he was born? Powers amplified by magic devices like the crown of horns, and Lobo's nickname trivia. Lobo's nickname for Etrigan is Big Ears because his ears are like
almost looks like a scroll.
Like Super Scroll.
Yeah. I always thought that, I don't know why, I know it says demon, but I always read Etrigan the dragon. So I thought he was a fucking dragon, and then I looked at him no, he looks like a damn Super Scroll almost.
Yeah, well, almost. I mean, they depict him with the orange or yellow skin. Yeah. I mean, it's crazy to look at him. Yeah. The almost gills, not gills, but fins.
Yeah.
Fish fins for ears, right? The red eyes, the teeth, big, bulky, powerful kind of a guy. Definitely dresses like he's from the 13th century.
Yeah.
So a very interesting character, and I love the fact that he's from that era because that's also one of my Victorian era is one of my favorite eras.
Okay.
The old King Arthur era, one of my favorite eras. So reading about this guy and tying it into like the King Arthur, the dragons, and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Really interesting character. He's been out a lot, but it's kind of all over the place.
Yeah. And do another 5-star presentation here. Etrigan the Dragon. Now the golden question, Adrian.
Etrigan the Dragon.
Yeah, the dragon. The demon. The golden question. How would he do up against everyone's favorite team, the Justice League?
I think he would do well.
Yeah.
Well, the show that I saw, he went toe to toe with Wonder Woman, and she ended up stabbing him in the chest with a sword and kicking him off the thing. So probably not so well.
So he would not solo the Justice League like a lot of
I
our
don't think that he would.
fellow comic friends,
Yeah.
But no, dude, that's awesome. That's the way you break him down, I could see him in James Gunn's DCU.
Right.
Because he's going to lean into that cosmic, that fantasy element. Like we've already seen, even from the Superman standpoint, Superman on the moon with the dog looking at the earth.
Right.
Which is a whole different take. A lot of the stuff we're used to from the DC movie standpoint is the grounded, like almost too grounded for comic stuff.
Right.
So I think Gunn's leading into, he's got that Creature Commando show coming out,
right.
or Commando Creature something. It seems like a character that would be an easy fit somewhere in there with how the storytelling he is looking to do. So hopefully we see, that'd be a good thing to see on screen.
I wish they'd just start writing characters like, remember Gladiator in X-Men 97?
Yep.
The way he was moving around and stuff. I wish they would just do something like that with Etrigan or any of the characters where they portray their powers the way they know that they can portray them, as opposed to, well, I got to do the hula hoop thing, or I got to do all of this bullshit, to throw a cast. And
You mean like Black Adam? Like they did in that movie?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. He didn't think about it. He wasn't conjuring up. He wasn't, oh, well, which power am I going to use? I mean, it was instant. It was just one thing after another. And I think that's one of the things that they don't do. They make the audience wait to see the power. And people are coming there to see that power. Right. And they just pooch screw it.
Yeah, dude. It's crazy. Well, dude, another great job, another 5-star presentation. If you like that, go back to last week. We had who was on last week, Adrian?
Booster Gold.
Booster Gold. Week before was Spawn.
Yep.
Anything past that, I'm not going to remember because I'm almost 40 years old. So, but you can go to the YouTube channel, you can subscribe, and you'll have all of them.
That's right.
Free of charge. Imagine that.
Yeah.
No cost. I mean, you could go to Only Comics merch and buy some of this. You could do that.
You could do that.
But that was awesome, dude. What we can do, though, we can also move on to agree to disagree.
Let's do it.
Actually, real quick, before we do that, one comment. Remember our man from like a week ago, it was too good to be called a sword? It was his name. And we asked him, like, dude, what the fuck does that even mean? So he goes, hey, guys, thanks for the shout-out 2 weeks ago. I did comment back. Something, but he says, so you're wondering about my name. It's in regards to the weapon of the main character of my favorite manga, Berserk. It's the Sword of Guts. If you Google it, you will see why they say it's too big to be called a sword. Okay, I don't want to do that right now. I don't want to say anything inappropriate.
No, I think I know, but in manga they have these math. I don't know. I've heard Berserk. I didn't know it was reference to a particular person. Okay, but I think it was like the name of a show. But in manga, they have these swords that are just massive, dude. Yep. It's like, you got, it's like me, but I got a sword that's 12 foot long. So too big to be a sword.
Damn. All right. Well, there it is.
I think that's what he's referencing. Okay. If you go there and you look it up and there's some baby oil involved.
I don't want to show up on Bo DeMayo's OnlyFans, bro. So we'll Google that offline.
There you go. But
he has a question, and I think we're going to answer this next week. My question this week to you would be, what is your 3 favorite weapons in comics? Thanks again for the shout out. Love from the UK. It's from the UK. Okay, mate. It's from the UK, bro. We'll answer that next week, dude. Top 3 comic weapons. There's just so many to choose from.
Okay.
I'm looking at Millionaire right behind you. That might be on my list, dude. Might be a little foreshadowing. So, moving on and wrapping this thing up. Guys, we got a few more minutes. These fucking guys. Where'd you find these guys, Adrian? You know, Jesus.
Mirrorverse.
This is the educational portion. Like, we went from the learning tree, so you learned a lot there. This is going to teach you guys how to interact with people when you don't see things the same way. Okay, this is called Agree to Disagree. I'm going to throw out a handful of my opinions, things I thought of today, made up. Maybe I'm going to test Adrian on something he agreed to in the past and try to get you, you know. And you're going to let me know if you agree or disagree, and no one's going to be upset except for you all watching. So are you ready?
Well, some of you. Anyway.
Some of you, yeah. You ready?
Let's do it.
Let's fucking go.
She-Hulk was better than Agatha all along.
Agree.
Damn. The X-Men have never been done properly on screen in live action.
Never.
That's a key, in live action.
Right.
Because X-Men 97 knocked it out of the park.
Yeah, I know what you meant.
All the way to the OnlyFans. The multiverse, or I'm sorry, the MCU's multiverse is unfriendly to new viewers.
It is.
The X-Men should not join the MCU until after Secret Wars.
I agree.
Tom Holland's Spider-Man would beat Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man.
Disagree.
Damn, who's winning? Tobey?
Well, assuming the two go up against the one.
No, I'm sorry. Not a 2-on-1, but if like Tom Holland fights Andrew, he's winning. If Tom Holland fights Tobey, he's winning.
Oh, understood. Agree.
Agree. Black Adam would lay the smackdown on Superman.
Absolutely.
The MCU's Thor would lay the smackdown on the DCEU Superman.
All right. So earlier when you said that, I'm just thinking Thor versus Superman.
Right.
But you're talking about specific Thors with specific Superman. I agree.
Chris Hemsworth versus, this might be across the board this week, Adrian. Last but not least, if you agree or disagree with any of these, you should go subscribe to the Only Comics YouTube channel right now.
Say that again.
If you agree or disagree with any of these, you should go subscribe to the Only Comics YouTube channel.
What he's saying is just go subscribe to the Only Comics YouTube channel. Agree.
There you go. Good job. There you have it. Like this, share this, subscribe. Share this with your friends, your family, your mom, your dad, somebody. Give it to them as a Thanksgiving present. Right. I don't know. Your neighbor that's annoying you, put it on your TV and blast it out the window. Who cares?
Right. Well, if you give it to your neighbors, they won't annoy you anymore because they'll be too busy watching Only Comics.
Look at that, dude. You're always providing the perspective. Hey, that's how you do it.
Yeah.
Well, Adrian, thanks for coming out.
Absolutely.
Guys, thanks for watching. Next week, we'll be back at you. We'll have the season finale of The Penguin, so we'll kind of give our thoughts on the show as a whole. No Agatha all along, so that's cool.
Right.
And we're going to dig into our top 3 weapons from comics, right? And maybe we'll dive into a movie. You know what? We said Doctor Strange.
Right.
You want to do a Doctor Strange review?
We can do that.
Multiverse.
Sure.
We're in this multiverse phase,
right?
And maybe we'll tell you why it's so unfriendly to new viewers. But we're not new viewers. We've been here for the long haul. Right. So, hey, if you want to join along, watch Doctor Strange Multiverse Madness, whatever the fuck it's called. You know what it's called. People are like, that's not what it's called. I know, but you knew what I was talking about, right?
Exactly.
Like, fuck.
Who is your dialect coach? The Minions?
Seriously. Anyways, Adrian, thanks for coming out.
Absolutely.
Happy Veterans Day.
Thank you.
Any of you veterans that are watching, happy Veterans Day to you as well. Thank you for your service, and we will see you next week right here on Only Comics.
Peace.